Alright, well, we're definitely turning music down. Yeah, keep the other volume at, like, a decent level. Cat, get the fuck out of here. You're fucking tangled up in all my cords and you're being a dickhead. Leave. Ugh. I'm gonna put you in kitty jail. Mwah. Little shithead. Go away. Be gone, white devil. New hentai game? No, this is not a hentai game. This is like the opposite of hentai. A light breeze causes the naked branches overhead to rattle like wooden wind chimes. This is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. Ouch! Alright, fuck you, cat. You're getting out of here. This is a little PSA for everyone out there. Don't have animals and don't have children. Alright, this is a popular retreat for couples in the summer. The... Deciduous? What the fuck? I've never seen that word before. Trees provide a beautiful green canopy far out of sight of teachers and fellow students. But now, in late winter, it feels like I'm standing under a pile of kindling. I breathe into my cupped hands and rub them together ferociously to prevent them from numbing in this cold. Just how long am I expected to wait out here? I'm sure the note said 4 p.m. Ah, yes, the note. Slipped between the pages of my math book while I wasn't looking. As far as cliches go, I'm more of a fan of the letter in the locker, but at least this way shows a bit of initiative. As I ponder the meaning of the note, the snowfall gradually thickens. The snowflakes silently falling from the white-painted sky are the only sign of the time passing in the stagnant world. Their slow descent upon the frozen forest makes it seem like time has slowed to a crawl. The rustling of dry snow underfoot startles me, interrupting the quiet mood. Someone is approaching me from behind. It's Big Dick Randy. Hi, Sal? You came. A hesitating, barely audible question. However, I recognize the owner of that dainty voice instantly. I feel my heart skip a beat. It's a voice I've listened to hundreds of times, but never as more than an eavesdropper to a conversation. I turn to face this voice, the voice of my dreams, and my heart begins to race. Iwanako? I got a note telling me to wait here. It was yours? Damn it. I spent all afternoon trying to come up with a good line, and that was the result. Pathetic. Yes, I asked a friend to give you that note. I'm so glad I got to you. A shy, joyous smile that makes me so tense, I couldn't move a single muscle, even if I tried. Oh no, am I being, like, proposed to by the girl of my dreams and I get hit with a fucking heart attack? My heart is pounding now, as if it were trying to burst out from my chest and claim this girl for itself. So, here we are, out in the cold. Once again, the wind stirs up the branches. The cacophonious noise is music to my ears. Alright, this game is already using way too many big words for me. Iwanako flinches ever so softly against the gust of wind. As it passes, she rights herself, as if supported by some new confidence. Her eyes lock with mine, and she lazily twirls her long, dark hair around her finger. All the while, the anxious beating of my heart grows louder. My throat is tight. I doubt I could even force a word out if I tried. You see, I wanted to know if you'd go out with me. I stand there motionless, save for my pounding heart. I want to say something to reply, but my vocal cords feel like they've been stretched beyond the breaking point. Hisao? I reach up to try to massage my throat, but this only sends spikes of blinding pain along my arm. Hisao! My whole body freezes, save for my eyes, which shoot open in terror. Hisao! The beating of my chest suddenly stops, and I go weak at the knees. The world around me, the canopy of bare branches, the dull winter sky, Iwanako running towards me, all these faded to black. The last thing I remember before slipping away are the sounds of Iwanako screaming for help and the incessant clutter of the branches around me. Yo, rip mans. Dude gets proposed to and has a fucking heart attack. You know, that'd be some, like, shit that happened to me. Like, I finally do manage to find another girlfriend, and I just, like, holy shit, this game has animation? Did I say silent cock? Oh, silent cook. Maybe this is a porn game. I don't really... But yeah, no, that would be, like, my luck. I finally find someone that actually, like, accepts me and, like, wants to date me. And then I would, like, have a heart attack or something. I think I'm actually more impressed that this game has animation. Simple yet effective. I feel like most of these visual novels don't even have that. It's been 4 months since my heart attack. In that whole time, I can probably count the times I've left this hospital room unsupervised on one hand. 4 months is a pretty long time when you're left alone with your thoughts, so I've had plenty of time to come to terms with my situation. Arthemia? Arthemia. Alright, I want to look up what that is. An arrhythmia is an abnormal heart rhythm characterized by irregular, too fast or too slow heartbeats. Causes electrical imbalances in the heart, structural anomalies in the heart, electrolyte imbalances, medications, infections, thyroid disease, and stress. Well, now I know. A strange word. A foreign, alien one. One that you don't want to be in the same room with. A rare condition. It causes the heart to act erratically and occasionally beat way too fast. They can be fatal. Apparently I've had it for a long time. They said it was a miracle that I was able to go on so long without anything happening. Is that really a miracle? I guess it was supposed to make me feel better. More appreciative of my life. It really didn't do anything to cheer me up. My parents, I think, were hit harder by the news than I was. They practically had 2 hemorrhages apiece. I had already had a full day by then to digest everything. To them, it was all fresh. They were even willing to sell our house in order to pay for a cure. Of course, there isn't a cure. Because of the late discovery of this condition, I've had to stay at the hospital to recuperate from my treatment. When I was first admitted, it felt as if I was missed. For about a week, my room in the ward was full of flowers, balloons, and cards. But the visitors soon dwindled, and all the get well gifts began trickling down to nothing shortly after. I realized that the only reason I had gotten so many cards and flowers was because sending me their sympathy had turned it into a classroom project. Or had been turned. That sounds about right. There's something... It's kind of like a similar thing, but I fucking hate on Facebook when I've probably seen, like, within the 10 years that I've been out of high school, I've seen at least, like, 20 people that I've gone to school with show up in, like, obituaries or, like, died or something, either by, like, suicide or, you know, getting into, like, a fatal accident or something. I always fucking hate seeing the posts from people that, like, oh, I really missed them. We had such good times together. My brother, I remember you in school, and, like, you used to bully this person. What do you mean you missed them? That fucking, like, farming for sympathy shit. I hate that so much. This is just, like, another form of that. But I've seen it so many times now. Because, like, I asked myself the same question before, too. Like, if I ever died, like, would anyone actually miss me? Or would it just be, like, those dickheads on Facebook just being like, ah, man, you know, Keji, he was a really cool dude. The way he used to sit in the back of the classroom just staring blankly or playing on his fucking 3DS throughout the whole class. Like, yeah, I really miss that little bastard. Rest in peace, my brother. Amen. Like, I don't think anyone would actually care from my school. I think more of my online friends would care if I was dead than anyone in my actual, like, social circles. Maybe some people were genuinely concerned, but I doubt it. Even in the beginning, I barely had visitors. By the end of the first month, only my parents came by on a regular basis. Awanako was the last to stop visiting. After 6 weeks, I never saw her again. We never had that much to talk about when she visited anyways. We didn't touch the subject that was between us on that snowy day ever again. The hospital? It's not really a place I'd like to live in. The doctors and nurses feel so impersonal and faceless. I guess it's because they're in a hurry and have a million other patients waiting for them, but it makes me feel uncomfortable. For the first month or so, I asked the head cardiologist every time I saw him for a rough estimate of when I'd be able to leave. He never answered anything in a straightforward way, but told me to wait and see if the treatment and surgeries worked. So I idly observed the scar that those surgeries had left on my chest slowly change its appearance over time, thinking of it as some kind of omen. I still ask the head cardiologist about leaving, but my expectations are low enough that I'm not disappointed anymore when I don't get a reply. The way he shuffles around the answer shows that there's at least some hope. At some point, I stopped watching TV. I don't know why. I just did. Maybe it was the wrong kind of escapism for my situation. I started reading instead. There was a small library at the hospital, although it was more like a storeroom for books. I began working my way through it, one small stack at a time. After consuming them, I would go back for more. I found that I liked reading, and I think I even became a bit addicted. I started feeling naked without a book in my hands. But I loved the stories. That was what my life was like. The days became increasingly harder to distinguish from one another, differing only by the book I was reading and the weather outside. It felt like time blurred into some kind of gooey mess I was trapped inside of, instead of moving within. A week could go by without me really noticing it. Sometimes I'd pause in realization that I didn't know what day of the week it was. But other times, all the things that surrounded me would painfully crash into my consciousness through the barrier of nonchalance I had set up for myself. The pages of my book would start to feel sharp and burning hot, and the heaviness in my chest would become so hard to bear that I had to put the book aside and just lay down for a while, looking at the ceiling as if I was going to cry. But that happened only rarely, and I couldn't even cry. Today, the doctor comes in and gives me a smile. He seems excited, but not very. It's like he's trying to make an effort to be happy on my behalf. My parents are here. It's been a few days since I've last seen them. Both of them are even sort of dressed up. Is this supposed to be some kind of special occasion? It's not a party. There is this ritual the head cardiologist has. He takes his time sorting his papers, then sets them aside as if to make a point of it, of the pointlessness of what what he just did. He then casually sits down on the edge of the bed next to mine. He looks me in the eyes for a moment. Hello, Hisao. How are you today? I don't answer him, but I smile a little back at him. I believe that you can go home. Your heart is stronger now, and with some precautions, you should be fine. We have all your medicines sorted out. I'll give your father the prescription. The doctor hands a sheet of paper to my dad, whose expression turns wooden as he reads it quickly. So many. I take it from his hand and take a look myself, feeling numb. How am I supposed to react to this? The absurdly long list of medications staring back at me from the paper seems insurmountable. They all blend together in a sea of letters. This is insane. Side effects, adverse effects, contradictions, and dosages are listed line after line with cold precision. I try to read them, but it's futile. I can't understand any of it, attempting to only make me feel sicker. All this for the rest of my life, every day? I'm afraid that's the best we can do at this point. However, new medications are always being developed, so I wouldn't be surprised to see this list fade over the years. Years? What kind of confidence booster is that? I'd have felt better if he hadn't said anything at all. Also, I've spoken with your parents, and we believe that it would be best if you don't return to your old school. What? Nani? Please, calm down, Hisao. Listen to what the doctor has to say. Calm down? The way he says it tells me he knew full well that I wouldn't like it. Am I going to be homeschooled? Whatever my concern shows, it's ignored. We all understand that your education is paramount. However, I don't think that it's wise for you to be without supervision. At least not until we're sure that your medication is suitable. So I've spoken to your parents about a transfer. It's a school called Yamaku Academy that specializes in dealing with disabled students. Disabled? What? Am I? It is a 24-hour nursing staff, or it has a 24-hour nursing staff, and it's only a few minutes from a highly regarded general hospital. The majority of students live on campus. Think of it as a boarding school of sorts. It's designed to give students a degree of independence while keeping help nearby. Independence? It's a school for disabled kids. Don't try to disguise that fact. If it was really that free, there wouldn't be a 24-hour nursing staff, and you wouldn't make a hospital being nearby a selling point. Of course, that's only if you want to go, but your mother and I aren't really able to homeschool you. We went out there and had a look at a couple weeks back. I think you like it. It looks like I really don't have a choice. Compared to other heart problems, people with your condition usually tend to live long lives. You'll need a job one day, and this is a good opportunity to continue your education. This isn't an opportunity. Don't call it an opportunity. Don't call it a goddamn opportunity. Well, you should be excited at the chance to go back to school. I remember you wanted to return to school, and while it's not the same one, a special school, that's an insult. That is what I want to say. It's a step down. It's not what you think. All the students there are pretty active in their own sort of way. It's geared towards students that can still get around and learn, but just need a little help, in one way or another. Your father's right, and many of the graduates of the school have gone on to do amazing things. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. One of my colleagues in another hospital is a graduate. I don't care. A person doesn't have to be held back by their disability. That's what a disability is. I really hate that something so important was decided for me, but what can I do about it? A normal life is out of my question now. It's funny. I'd always thought my life was actually kind of boring, but now I miss it. I want to protest. I want to blame this lack of reaction on shock or fatigue. I could easily yell out something about how I can go back to school anyway, but no. I don't say anything. The fact is that I know now it's futile. I look around the room, feeling very tired of all this. The hospital, doctors, my condition, everything. I don't see anything that would make me feel any different. There really isn't a choice. I know this, but the thought of going on to be a disabled school, or going to a disabled school, what are those even like? As much as I try to put a positive spin on this, it's very difficult. But let me try. A clean slate isn't a bad thing. That is all I can think to get me through this. At least I still have something, even if it's a special school, it's something. It's a fresh start, and my life isn't over. It would be a mistake to resign myself to that. At the very least, I'll try to see what my new life will look like. I mean, all things considered, that's still like a somewhat positive outlook. Act 1, life expectancy. Oh, sorry. Let me coat my throat with a delicious Monster energy drink. The gate looked far too pompous for what it is. In fact, the gates in general seem to do that, but this one especially so. Red brick... Wow. Red bricks. Red bricks, black wrought iron, and gray plaster assembled into a whole that didn't feel welcoming at all. I wondered if it looked like what a gate from a school should look like, but couldn't really decide. Probably not. Of course, I didn't want to get stuck on thinking about the gate for far too long, so I entered through it with a brisk pace that felt surprisingly good. Moving forward feels good. So I walked towards the main building of Yamaku Academy with its brisk pace. I'm alone, as my parents are taking stuff to the dorms, and there's supposed to be someone waiting for me. The grounds are incredibly lush, filled with green. It doesn't feel like the kind of grounds a school would have. More like a park, with a clean walkway going past trees and the smell of fresh-cut grass and all other park-like things. Words like clean and hypogenic pop into my mind. It makes me shudder. I shake them off, stay open-minded now. It's your new life. You have to take it as it comes. That's what I tell myself. A few big buildings loom behind the leafy canopies. Too big, and too many for just a school. Everything seems off. It's different from what I thought I knew about schools. It's an uncanny valley. Even though I was told this is my new school, in the back of my head it doesn't feel like one. I wonder if the feeling is real or caused by my expectations of a school for the disabled. Speaking of that, I don't see anyone else here. It's kind of eerie. It makes me wish there was someone here so I could anchor myself to something tangible instead of having this feeling that I stepped into another dimension. The trees hum with the wind and the green hues flashing all around me catch my attention. It makes me think about the hospitals again. How they say that the operating rooms are painted green because green is a common color. So why am I feeling so anxious, despite all this greenery? Only after I stand in front of the Hofty main building, I surprise myself by realizing why the gate bothered me. It was the last chance I had to turn back, even if I had no life I could return to. But still, after entering, there was absolutely no way I could go back anymore. Feeling nervous with this realization set in my head, I opened the front door. A tall man with a bad posture notices me as I enter. We're the only people in the lobby, so it's only logical. You must be Naki? Nake. So you are. Excellent. I am your homeroom and science teacher. My name is Muto. Welcome. We exchange a handshake that is neither firm nor sloppy, and he looks at his watch. The head nurse asked you for a brief check-in visit, but there's no time for that now. Oh, should I go later? Yes, afternoon is probably fine. We should get going and introduce you to the rest of the class. They're waiting already. Waiting for me? I don't really like being the center of attention, but I guess it's inevitable in a situation like this. Somehow, not knowing what is waiting for me makes me feel really nervous. Thinking of this, I almost miss what the teachers are saying. Do you want to introduce yourself to the class? Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure. I mean, isn't that normal? Of course, but not everyone likes to be at the center of attention. I'm probably one of those people, but I guess I should be the one to give them the first impression myself. Right, but it's no problem. Let's go then. My heart is pounding in my chest, and it keeps me thinking about my condition as I follow the teacher upstairs. The third door down, the third floor corridor, is marked as classroom for class 3-3. Muto opens the door and enters. Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm late. I hesitate for a split second at the door, freezing on the spot. Ah, get a grip. This is a big step, I know that. But there isn't any point to worrying so much about it. At least not this soon. I follow the teacher into the classroom and I look around, partly so I won't have to meet the curious gazes of my new classmates. Oh, yo, that girl's got the, God, what the fuck is that thing called when you have two different eye colors? Is it like... It's like heterophobia or something? Heterophobia? That sounds like a fear of, like, heterosexual men. It's pretty spacious, the ceiling is unusually high, and there's a lot of space left over around and in between the desk. An entire wall taken up by blackboard, and the high, old-fashioned windows only make it seem larger. The students' desks are just standard wooden desks with a shelf underneath for books and wooden chairs, with metal frames, simple and efficient. I stop walking in front of my class and face the other students. They all look normal, like students in any other school, but then why would they be here? They're probably like me and have something wrong with them, only it's just not immediately obvious. Then, I notice that one of the students seems to be missing the thumb on her right hand. It's a little jarring. Despite the natural tendency to listen when someone's talking about you, I tune out the teacher's speech halfway through while he introduces me to the class. Yeah, I mean, besides from, like, the guy in the back, I'm not immediately... Oh, I guess she has no legs. She has no legs. She has a brace on one leg. There's the pink-haired girl that they were talking about before, but they never say if she actually has, like, a disability. She's just supposed to be, like, the aide to the, Shizune. I notice a flash of dark hair and see that someone is looking at me. A girl with a really long, straight hair that is pretty eye-catching. As she sees me looking back at her, she covers her face with her hands, as if to make herself invisible. There is one boy with a cane, leaning against the lockers at the rear of the class. It's weird seeing someone so young with a cane. Another girl seems to be making some weird hand motions, sign language. She peers at me over the rims of her glasses, then goes back to whatever she's doing. She's kind of cute. So is the cheery-looking girl with the pink hair sitting next to her. She's really hard to miss. I don't know how I didn't notice her at the moment I walked in. Please welcome our newest classmate. He claps his hands and so does everyone else, except one girl in the first row who has only one hand. I cringe a little, but hide it by bowing in thanks for the applause I did not deserve. A collective silence tells me I should open my mouth now. So, I'm Hisao, Nakai? I'm gonna say Nakai. Hisao Nakai. And after that, my hobbies are reading and soccer. I hope to get along with everyone, even though I'm a new student. And after that, I'm being so boring. This is exactly like every self-introduction I've ever... I should say something more exciting. I end up saying nothing and the teacher picks up from there. Everyone seems to be satisfied even with that little I said, though a few girls are whispering to each other, throwing glances at me. Could have gone worse. I listen to the teacher as he drones about getting along while letting my gaze sweep across the classroom. I wish I could actually, like, move the thing so I can see the other students again. Everyone seems to be listening to him intently, and when he's done, they clap their hands again, which feels like a weird thing to do. The first row girl claps on this round with her one hand against the other wrist, that ends up in bandage stumps. Makes me feel a little bad. We're going to be doing some group work today, so that'll give you a chance to talk with everyone. Is that okay with you? Yeah, it's fine with me. That's good. You can work with Hakamichi. She's the class representative. She can explain anything you might want to know. And who else would be able to do that better, right? How could I know? The teacher passes out the day's assignment and announces that we'll be doing groups of 3s. It hits me that I don't know who Hakamichi is. Slow. The teacher seems to catch my helpless expression. Oh, right. Hakamichi is right there. Shizune Hakamichi. As he calls her out, the cute, bubbly-looking girl with bright pink hair and gold eyes waves her hand at me. I take a seat next to her by the window. Hey, I guess you're Hakamichi, right? It's nice to meet you. Ha ha ha. What? I'm caught off guard by her laughter. It's nice to meet you too, but... I'm not Hakamichi. I'm Misha. This is Hakamichi. Giggling, Misha points to the girl next to her, the one I saw using sign language before. It looks like she has been staring at me this whole time. She nods once nonchalantly to show that she acknowledges my presence, but only barely. She has short, yet carefully, neatly brushed hair, a pair of oval-shaped glasses balanced on the tip of her dainty nose, and dark blue eyes that seems to alternate every few seconds between analytical and slightly bored. It's nice to meet you. She immediately looks at Misha, who smiles and makes a few quick gestures with her hands. Hakamichi nods and makes a few gestures of her own. I start to wonder if the teacher was messing with me, saying things like, you'll be able to talk to people, and who better to explain things to you. I can see you're a little confused, right? Right? But I understand why you would think I was Hakamichi. Hakamichi is deaf, so I'm the person who translates things back and forth for her. I'm like an interpreter. She says it's nice to meet you too. You're the new student, aren't you? Well, Hakamichi, of course he is. If he wasn't, he would have been standing up for no reason, right? He seems like a very interesting person, doesn't he? We knew there was going to be a new student, but we didn't know you would be here today. So soon, right? Hakamichi? Yep, it fits, doesn't it? Did I say it out loud? It's just a surprise. I never liked that nickname. Or, wait, no, she was talking to me. Would she call me Haichan? I don't really see how. It fits. You just look like I imagined. Yeah, you look just like, Hichan. I wonder why everyone seems to think so. Hakamichi taps her fingers on the desk to get Misha's attention. They gesture back and forth to each other, excitedly, their hands a blur. They're throwing up jutsus. Misha seems a little bit, overwhelmed. Sorry about that. Hakamichi wants you to know that she's the class rep, so if there's anything you need to know, you can feel free to ask her. Do you like the school so far? We can show you around in a little, if you haven't had the time to walk around and familiarize yourself with it. Misha stumbles with the hard word a bit, making it stick out in her otherwise fluid translation. Thanks, that would be pretty helpful. Yeah, I just came straight to class today. Haha. That's no good. You should always try to learn as much as you can about where you're going before you go there. Not just with school, either. Always, even if it's a trip to the convenience store. Really, Shish-chan? Learn about where you're going. I guess I didn't bother to do that, or just didn't care enough to do so. I didn't look forward to this, even if I committed myself to go along with it, half-assedly, but anyway. I don't say anything, and Misha signs something that ends in a shrug. What was that? It seems like it was about me. I feel like slumping over in my seat. Both of them are smiling, but that shrug hit me unexpectedly deeply. You look down. Are you okay? Don't take it the wrong way, please. I hate it when people are afraid to ask questions. That's how people learn things, by asking. Asking for help is perfectly normal. As much as needing help. Stop looking like you just failed a test. Alright. Ah, and another thing. You don't have to call me Shish-chan something so formal like Hakamichi or class rep all the time. I'm still gonna call her Hakamichi, because I don't know how the fuck to say that. Okay, maybe that's too casual. Maybe Shizune would be more appropriate. Shizune is fine. Okay, that would be a lot easier for me. I feel a lot more at ease. Both of them seem so friendly. So I feel like an idiot for being so apprehensive earlier. Especially about Shizune, who I would assume would be all business. Well, she still seems like that, just less so, I guess. Oh right, we haven't even touched the assignment. We should start work now, or Hakimichi will get mad. The assignment is also kind of long, so we start now. Or should we start now if we want to finish it before the end of class? That too. Shizune glares at the two of us impatiently. I don't need to know sign language to understand that. Okay, I get the message. After class, we can take a walk around the grounds together. It's a nice day today, okay? The assignment is actually very challenging to get through, combining aspects of being both difficult and unnecessarily long. Still, we finished it a few minutes earlier than everyone else in class, despite our late start. Shizune and Misa are really capable. They're quite different, though. The class rep is as calm and professional as she looks, while Misha is a lot more playful and girlish, not to mention a little more easily distracted. To be honest, the two of them did most of the work. I feel guilty about that. The clock tower bell rings, signaling the end of the period. Time for lunch. Without knowing what else to do, I follow Misha, who is beckoning me into the hallway and down the stairs. We descend even below the lobby where I met Muto, down at the bottom floor. Just like everything in the school, the cafeteria seems too spacious and oddly modern in contrast to the classic exterior. Its big windows open to a courtyard towards the main gate. It's the cafeteria! Her enthusiastic statement of the obvious makes people around us stare, but Misha doesn't seem to care, so we proceed to the line. There is a rather long list of menu options, which seems great until I realize that many of them are to accommodate students with special diets. How nice. It almost feels like I'm back at the hospital, eating portions measured with scientific precision to meet the ends of the patients. I pick something at random and follow Shizune to the table, sitting opposite of her. As I nibble indifferently at the food I'd rather not eat, Misha pokes at me on the side to get my attention and points to Shizune. I don't understand sign, so the point escapes me. Maybe looking at a person who talks to you is proper and polite? Do you want to know something? What? About anything. We're your guides, so you should ask if there's something. Huh, I wonder. Ask about Shizune's deafness. I think I got everything I needed to know. Ask about the library. They did say I was a big fan of books. Oh yeah, is there a library in the school? Lately I've gotten into reading a lot, so I'd like to check it out. Misha gives the kind of frown that makes it clear she doesn't consider reading a healthy hobby, but then picks up her smile again. There is. It's in the second floor. We can show it to you sometimes. Thanks. I return to my food while the girls talk between themselves. Misha and Shizune sign back and forth very animately, throwing aside glances at me, but Misha refrains from translating. Maybe they're talking about secret girl stuff or something. I quickly notice the conversation in sign is not enough to fill a silence. We arrive in the classroom early, but we're not the first. That dark-haired girl I noticed before is slumped, over her desk at the last row. She jumps a little when Misha crashes into the room with the elegance of a rhino. She shrinks deeper into her seat. I can feel her tension all the way from here, as if she were slowly turning into stone from just our presence. God, I'm slowly losing my brain as this goes by. Misha and Shizune either don't notice or don't mind it, as they walk directly past her into their seats to begin to converse. I'm left wondering about her, even when the classroom slowly fills with other students, and finally the teacher. Getting into the rhythm of school feels strange. It's as if my brain remembers how this is done, but my body doesn't. Towards the end of the class, I start yawning and counting the minutes left. I shouldn't be this tired on my first day of school. Maybe it's the long time spent in the hospital that made me like this. I'm even feeling physically weak and lifeless. Before long, the final bell rings. School is finally over for the day. Also, I never went to the nurse's office. Besides me, Misha and Suzune are having a short conversation. After a bit of deliberation, Misha turns to me. Unfortunately, we can't stay and show you around today. Shizune, we've got to hurry, too. Oh, wait, no, that's the nickname she gave me. I'm already all over the place with fucking names. Hikchan, we've got to hurry already, since there's a lot of work for us to do. You'll find your way around here, I'm sure of it. Oh, wait, the teacher said I have to see the nurse. Where do I have to go? Is that so? We can at least show you that much. Come on, the nurses have their own building, so we have to go outside. We joined the flow of students making their way down the stairwell and outside, with the girls pointing out other senior classrooms in the same hallway as ours. When we get outside, the girls make their way to the smaller building right next to the school. It's built in the same style, so it looks like it's actually a part of the main building. This is the auxiliary building here. There's a lot of official and important stuff inside, like the Yamaku Foundation office and all the nurses' office. They even have a swimming pool. How is that official? Don't be silly, Hichan. It's for physical therapy, of course. Anyways, all the nursing staff facilities are there too. The head nurse's office is on the first floor. You'll be fine from here, right? We'll be going. See you tomorrow. Yeah, thanks. Bye. A whole building for stuff that has nothing to do with actual education? I guess it's necessary for a place like this. I walk in hoping that this really will be a quick visit, like the teacher said. On a white door on the left is a green cross with the text head nurse and a nameplate. A voice from inside responds to my knock almost immediately, but I can't quite make it out. It sounded a bit like an invitation to open the door, so I invite myself in further. The room is not large, and smells strange. A friendly-looking man turns around on his chair to face me as I enter. His desk is neat and tidy, but the bin under the table is overflowing with used medical utensils, and there's at least a dozen coffee cup rings lingering on the desk. Hello there, what can I do for you today? This man looks like a serial killer. He is a young-looking and sort of rugged, but the dimples in his cheek wash that impression away when he smiles. Are you the nurse? He smiles like a person who has heard this very same question hundreds of times. Why, yes I am. It says so on the door, no? You can call me by my name, or just the nurse like everyone else. Of course, I shake off my confusion, realizing I should probably just grab his extended hand. His handshake is rather firm and friendly. Right, I'm a new student and my homeroom teacher told me to come meet you. My name is Hisao, Naki. His eyes light up with revelation as he snaps his fingers. Oh, you're that Naki. I was just reading your file in the morning. Some kind of chronic, arrhythmia and related congenital heart muscle deficiency, right? He gestures me to sit down in a vacant armchair in front of his desk. Yes. Good. Well, you've probably been briefed about the school enough, so I'll just go over this quickly. We have all kinds of facilities available, mostly physical therapy and such. There's always someone from my staff around, even at night, so never hesitate to call us if there's a problem. The famous 24 hours nursing staff. Wow, this is like a hospital. Well, not exactly. For instance, we don't do a brain surgery here. His joke feels so out of place that I'm left thinking, why has he even said that? Yeah, just that it's really weird to have so many medical people at a school. You'll get used to it. I'm not so sure of that myself, but I don't let the nurse know it. Now, let me just find your file again. While he searches for something from his computer and shuffles stacks of papers around, I let my gaze wander around the room. It's the epitome of generic, I'd like to say. Beige walls and ceiling, dark gray illuminate flooring, and all the equipment you'd expect from a school nurse's office. Even the ridiculous educational posters are hanging on all four walls, reminding me to eat properly 3 times a day and from all the food groups. Smiling, the nurse draws a thick file from a stack of similarly thick files and opens it. So, you already have the medication for arrhythmia. Just remember to take your pills every morning and evening, or it won't help much. Apart from that, do you do any sports? Rash stuff like, I don't know, boxing? He grins at his own joke, but I don't. Well, I played soccer occasionally with some classmates. Alright, I'm afraid I'm gonna have to recommend you refrain from doing that. At least for the time being. Oh. My lack of reaction makes him raise an eyebrow, but really, I'm not too bothered by him forbidding me to kick a ball around. I guess I never did it out of burning passion for the sport. I just have something to do. Any kind of concussion might be very dangerous to your heart, and risking another attack is not a good idea. Was the previous one caused by sudden concussion to the chest area? There is no mention of what caused it in your papers. Not exactly. I sidestep the question acceptably, and he glances at me over his papers, with a more serious expression on his face. Still, you need to keep your body healthy, so some exercise would do good. We have physical therapy and such available, as I said, but I don't think you really need such heavy measures. Just get some light exercise regularly. Brisk walks or even light jogging, jumping rope, that sort of thing. Swimming, maybe. There's a pool here. So I was told. You are. Very good. At any rate, and I'm sure you've been told this before, you just need to take care not to overexert yourself. He wags his fingers to emphasize the point. No need, really. I've heard it 1,000 times already. Absolutely no unnecessary risk. Take care of yourself. Okay. He goes over my papers one more time and sets them on the desk. Obviously content. Good. That's it then. Come meet me if you ever need something. I'm ushered out before I even realize it. A quick visit indeed. I end up standing in front of the main building in the auxiliary building. Although, to my eyes, they still look like the same one. It's the first real look I get at the other students, so I watch people coming out of the school, going towards the gates or dorms. Everyone seems to know where they're going, and I still keep thinking that most of them don't look too special for being students at a special school. Then again, neither do I. Does that make me one of them? One of us? I should go somewhere too, to prevent me from getting lost. It's around dinner time, but I feel tired instead of hungry. The wariness in me only grows as I trudge towards the dorms, set a little way apart from the main building complex. There is a garden of sorts between the school and the dorms, shrubbery, flowers, and the overbearing smell of fresh-cut grass that fills the atmosphere. It dawns on me, or on my tired mind, that the smell feels novel because I haven't been outside at all for so long. The dorm building is big, made of red brick, like the others. It feels way too pompous for what it is, so I push forward, going inside. It takes more time than necessary to fish out the key I was given from my pocket. Rune 119. Despite the ordinate exterior, the room of the dorm is fairly new, functional, and boring. Just like the main building, the halls and doors are wide to accommodate wheelchairs. The same goes for the elevators at the end of the hallways. I poke my head around the corner of the common room door. Inside, a few students are watching the television. One nods and gives a quick hello before turning back to the TV. Seems that only the girls around here are sociable. I suppose that's perfectly fine with me. I climb the stairs to the upper floors. Here, small corridors branch off from the main hallway. Each of these minor halls seem to have a toilet and a shower, as well as 4 rooms. About halfway down the hall, I spy room 119. The nameplate on the rooms adjacent to mine are blank. I guess there are just 2 of us here. Light shines from below the door of room 117, so I knock lightly. Hello? Is anyone home? From inside, I hear a few movements, then clicking of way more locks than I thought these doors had. After a moment, the door squeaks open. A bispectacled boy is standing in the doorway. He is looking at me very intently through his extremely thick glasses. Who is it? Blind? No, at least not completely. Why would he have eyeglasses on if he wasn't? Or if he was? He leans closer to me until our noses are almost touching. His breath stinks of garlic. Hisao, Naki. I'm moving into the next room. I thought I should introduce my... His face suddenly brightens in realization. and he stands back upright, thrusting his hand out in a smiling greeting, almost straight to my diaphragm. Oh, sup, dude? The name's Kenji. Fuck yeah, dude. Kenji. Oh, hi. I take Kenji's sweaty hands and shake it, still a little rattled by the sudden change of attitude and vehement welcome. I think I said that right. There were some suspicious-looking people going in and out of your room earlier. It was probably my parents. Your parents? You sure? Because they could have been some other people, too. You can't judge a book by its cover. His out-of-place pervert is left hanging between us, awkwardly as I try to think of some way to respond. I'd say the chances are high enough. He shudders and makes some exaggerated hand gestures. You're a brave man, Hisao. Me? I don't think I could trust the chances. The only one I trust is myself. Does that mean I shouldn't get to know you either? He thinks about this for a while. A wise decision. Damn, you're smarter than you look. Probably. What do you look like? I hope not smart. He squints his eyes and leans closer again, but I lean backwards to dodge it. Never mind. It doesn't matter. With that, he turns, fumbles around for a moment in search of the door handle, and shuts the door behind him. I slid the key into the lock of my door marked 119. Bleak beige walls, white linen, a desk made of some type of light wood, ugly curtains. It's no one's room. Impersonal, like a hospital room was. My bags are sitting at the feet of my bed, looking a lot emptier than they did this morning. The closet is sitting open, stocked with my clothes. Also, it seems that there are a number of school uniforms hanging there as well. I noticed pinned to the sleeve of one of the shirts. Hi, Hick-chan. We've unpacked your things and made your bed. They said that if these don't fit, that you should go to the office tomorrow. If you have any problems, you can always call us. Love, Mom and Dad. Oh, well, that's not true, because I didn't have both my parents. I didn't live with either one of my parents. Well, at least I don't have to worry about unpacking. I kind of hoped I would. Then it would be something to do. It's still too early. I put the note down on the desk and just lie down on my bed, feeling drained. I decide to tug one out. No, that would be me in that situation. Like, there's nothing else to do. There's no TV in here. Time to crank it. Lying there makes me want to read something, but I have nothing with me. I wonder if the hospital conditioned me for wanting to read whenever I have nothing to do. The restless urge just keeps growing until I have to stand up. Maybe it's stress or something. I was pretty nervous about it before coming, and for the entire day, too. I still am, I think. Damn, I have to distract myself somehow, so I won't be in this unnatural all the time. Tomorrow I'll go borrow some books from the library. Yeah, I'll do that. But for now, the bottles of medication neatly arranged on my night table catch my eye. I picked up one and shook it just to hear the contents rattle inside, and then read the glued-on pharmacy label. Hisao, take 2 tablets daily to stay alive. It doesn't really say that, but it could just as well. It's kind of twisted having your life depend on chemicals like this. I resent it a little, but what choice do I have? I mean, I feel the same way about my bipolar meds, but at the same time, like, without those fucking meds, I'm just like... Well, what's a good word for it? I guess non-functional would probably just be, like, the better term for it. Like, I'm not exactly all there without them. With a sigh, I begin my daily ritual of taking the right number of pills from each bottle, being careful to check the correct dosages. I lie down again, feeling hollow and uncertain, and after that, I keep staring at the blank, unfamiliar ceiling for a long time. It doesn't start looking any more familiar, not even after darkness falls and long shadows draw across my room like fingers. The sheets feel slightly more comfortable, warm and nest-like against the chill that passes for room temperature here. Soon, the lighter shade of darkness that is the ceiling looks like every ceiling does at night, and it becomes the only thing I recognize anymore. The night beckons me to sleep, and I feel the coldness of unfamiliarity and fear creeping up my spine once again. I keep drifting further away from the world I knew. Alright, I need another drink. I'm starting to fumble in my words a little bit more. The more that I, like, read and talk on stream, I always find it, like, much harder to, like, articulate my words. I wake up in a strange room. Solid morning light shimmers against the light gray ceiling. I had forgotten to draw the curtains closed last night. This isn't my room, isn't it? My room. This is the third room this year that I'm supposed to call mine. Various things around here remind me that, indeed, it's me who is supposed to be the one living here. My bags on the floor, my new school books on the desk, my numerous medications on a night table. I stare at the bottles for a moment, deliberating, until I open a bottle, shake out the pill, and pop out a tablet from the foil sheet. I down them with a chaser of water without thinking about the chemistry. My uniforms are in the closet. I slink out from under the sheets and stretch my back before dressing up. Putting on a new school uniform feels like dressing in someone else's clothes. The artificial smell of generic detergent invades my nose, but the feeling of fresh clothes against my back is a good one, a natural one. It feels like a school uniform, as it should. It's not much different from what I've used to wear before. That goes for the other things, too. So far, this place seems more or less like a normal school. Except for the people. I think back to my talk with Kanji yesterday. Misha's constant laughter and Shizune's sweeping sign language gestures. Well, I've only met 3 students so far. Maybe they aren't that normal, but I'm sure the others are. Or perhaps people like them are what passes for normal around here. Yeah, what does pass for normal around here anyways? What do people do? I didn't see a lot of kids hanging around after classes yesterday, so maybe there are clubs. If so, I wonder if I should join one. All through class, the question remains on my mind, so I decide to ask Shizune about it when we split into groups. After all, she did say if I had anything I wanted to know, I should ask her. She crosses her arms and shifts her gaze slowly to Misha, who looks more preoccupied with trying to grind that eraser of her pencil down so that the top is perfect and evenly flat. Sorry, Hikchan. Is there something you wanted from me? I see. That's a good question, Hikchan. My first thought is that means she doesn't know, which is worrying. Maybe I'm being too negative. Well, anyway, Misha, please don't prove me right. Oh, that's right. Everyone is encouraged to join a club. A lot of people do so because there isn't really anything else to do. There are also school events, like the festival coming up in a few days. Almost every student in the school tends to help out with that, doing whatever. So, you actually transferred at a busy time. Maybe you can help out too. Sure. What's the festival about? Misha freezes. I don't know, Hikchan. The truth is it's a local event, and I'm not from this area, so... She starts signing desperately to Shizune, asking her to bail her out. Shizune adjusts her glasses at the end of an oddly grandiose flourish and starts signing hard and heavy. Oh. Who cares? Misha puffs her chest out and shouts Shizune's words at me with a disproportionate amount of pride. Too loud. I can see heads turning to look in our direction. Not so loud. Human beings evolve with each new generation. The ideals and beliefs behind a festival will inevitably change at time. Now, it's about delicious fried food and amazing little games that you play to win prizes. The teacher clears his throat very loudly. Batting his long wooden pointer against his other palm like a baton, he shoots a pointed gaze at us. Finally noticing where we are, Misha stifles a yelp and quickly quiets down. Shizune doesn't seem embarrassed at all, though, brushing it off without a care. We are in the middle of class and we should start working. That's right, Hik-chan. What? That's right. Hik-chan, are you asking because you're interested in joining a club? It could have been my eyes playing tricks on me, but I think I saw a suspicious glance exchanged between them. Misha's tone has also changed, although it does that every other word, anyway. Yeah, I was thinking about it. Misha and Shizune look at each other. I'm about to ask what they have in mind when something dark flutters in my peripheral vision, catching my attention. Out of the corner of my eye, I see the girl with long dark hair get up from her desk and slip silently towards the door. It doesn't seem like she was working in any group, and no one seems to notice her but me. I glance at the teacher, who's also looking at the dark-haired girl go. Why doesn't he say anything? Hik-chan, is something wrong? Do I look as uneasy as I feel? Or was Misha just looking at me looking after the girl who left? No, nothing. Okay, well, like we were asking, you don't have any plans for lunch today, do you? I thought I would go to the library and pick up some books. Not really. Do you want to have lunch together then? Sure. Okay, Hik-chan, perfect. The rest of class passes uneventfully. The girl with the long hair never came back. Before I have time to put any more thought into where she could have gone, the teacher informs us that it's time to stop working. Shizune looks more than a little annoyed that we only just barely managed to finish all of our work on time. I'm just glad we finished at all. It's not a contest or anything. Yes, it is, Hik-chan. Impossible. Really? Really. I've noticed this before, but it's kind of funny how Misha is always moving her hands and signing not only everything she says, but what anyone else is saying at any given time. Obviously, it must be so Shizune can understand it. Her eyes dart back and forth between Misha's hands and mine. I don't really know who I'm supposed to be looking at. I'm talking to Misha, but that might be wrong. Maybe I should face Shizune. I'm used to looking in the direction of the person whose voice I'm hearing, but really, Shizune can't hear me. But it would be disrespectful to talk to her only through Misha. Then again, isn't that what she's doing? No, she's at least looking at me. This is all very confusing and will take some time to get used to. It's not a contest, because contests are competitions over a prize. If there's no prize on the line, it's not really a contest. Shizune's eyes flash dangerously with a competitive glare. She stares at me, as if surprised that I'm challenging her. I think maybe this is a contest to her. I never noticed before how dark and blue her eyes are. It's truly an alluring gaze. Are you sure, Hik-chan? Very sure. You're wrong, Hik-chan, because I don't want to be the slowest one in the class. Therefore, what's on the line is my confidence in my abilities, and the prize is the satisfaction of proving them. Shizune pushes her glasses to the bridge of her nose in a very matter-of-fact way. I'd argue more, but the bells ring, and she quickly gets up and picks up her bags, looking at me expectantly. I had almost forgotten that I was supposed to have lunch with them. Where do you want to eat? The cafeteria? That's so plain. Okay, let's go. Plain? Well, I guess. At my old school, I like to eat outside near the back of the building. It was a good spot, but I didn't find it until near the end of freshman year. I wonder if there's a similar place to eat here. Misha seems to imply as much. Shizune and Misha pulled me towards the cafeteria, which is surprisingly not packed with some students... which is surprisingly not packed. I had blended that sentence together. Maybe some students favor eating in classrooms or outdoors. I saw some of my classmates had boxed lunches. After we finish eating, Misha picks up where we left off earlier. So, Hik-chan, you wanted to know about the clubs and stuff, right? Right, Hik-chan. Okay, I guess it makes sense to ask. Exchanging little nods of confirmation, they turn to face me again, and Misha straightens her posture as if she is about to deliver a speech. Hik-chan, do you have anything you're really interested in? I used to play soccer, but I'm not really into it. I don't follow the teams and players or anything like that. As of late, I usually just read a lot. There is a book club, right, Hik-chan? Or Shik-chan. Okay, so when she says Hik-chan, she's referring to me. Shik-chan is the other girl. She's already, like, mating. She's already, like, making fucking, like, couple names for us. That seems kind of, like... I don't really know what to think about that yet. I think she's, like, you know, like, egging us on. Like, hey... In fairness, that's actually how I ended up with, my fucking, last girlfriend, Karen. We were together for, like, 8 years, and... for, like, a couple of years before we even got together, like, most of it was just our friend groups just trying to get us together for the longest time. But honestly, I didn't really find any attraction to Karen until, I ended up, like, breaking off a relationship with the last girlfriend that I had. Just because it was long distance, and it was really starting to, like, get to me that, you know, we were dating from completely different countries. Me from the US, her from Canada. And I didn't live with either one of my parents at the time, so there was no way for me to, like, officially obtain, like, a... I was under the assumption that, like, I needed a passport to go see her. Comes to find out, you don't really need one of those until you're, like, an adult. But I never had anyone who wanted to take me or anyone who actually, like, cared enough to bring me over. So it was just one of those things where it's like, I still liked her, but I wasn't going to wait around forever. It was just a lot of stress being in a situation like that. But, anyway. There is a book club, right, Shik-chan? Right, but it seems like they have all the members they can possibly have right now. Sorry, Hik-chan. It's a really popular club. Ah, okay. But more to the point, Hik-chan. Does this mean you don't have anything already in mind? Not really. Good, great. That's great, Hik-chan. Really great. Why is it so great? No reason. Well, Hik-chan, other than clubs and upcoming festival, there is one other thing. Student council. I see. I didn't know the school had a student council. That was a very melodramatic setup, though, just to tell me that. I'm pretty sure the two of them know this because Shizune looks a little embarrassed about it, and Misha is laughing. Shizune quickly retakes control of the discussion, in a manner of speaking. After all, it's still Misha who has the voice, whatever she says. Right. Hik-chan, maybe you should join the student council. They could use more people. Yes, definitely. You should definitely join. Why? Well, for one, we could hang out every day, Hik-chan. Shik-chan and I are both in the student council. Actually, Shik-chan is the president. I'm starting to get suspicious that Shizune and Misha might not exactly be the most unbiased people to talk about with this. As if reading my mind, Shizune quickly adjusts her glasses and signs something to Misha. Of course, we're not trying to get you to join just because we would obviously benefit from you joining. The student council and therefore have an incentive to try and get you to. So you're admitting that? No, we admit nothing. I mean, Hik-chan, of course it would be nice if you joined, and we'd appreciate it. But even without all that, joining the student council shows a healthy interest in the workings of one's school. Yep, it's true, Hik-chan. Besides, don't you want to spend time with us after school, Hik-chan? I can't tell if she's being genuine or if this is just really good acting. Both of them seem to be trying hard to look gratuitous, although they are already pretty cute to begin with. Well. So it's settled then. Welcome to student council, Hik-chan. What? No. Ah, see, Shik-chan? Of course I want to go so easily. Yep, that's right. Though it would be boring if it went that smoothly. Oh well, Shik-chan owes me candy now. You were betting on me? Hey, my life is not a game here. Shizune seems very intrigued by this when Misha signs it to her. The aggressive glint in her eye returns. That's interesting, Hik-chan. Let's play a game. That's not what I said. How about rich man, poor man, Hik-chan? If you lose, you have to join the student council. No, absolutely not. Why not? Well, because you two both have the same incentive, and therefore the same goal, which is to get me to join the student council, right? Yep. Yeah, that isn't my goal. But what this means is that both of you can team up and I'll be at a clear disadvantage. So, I will have to decline. Hikchan, I'm very offended. Are you saying you don't trust us and that we would pull something so distinguish? That makes me sad. Sorry? It's hard to tell where Shizune's influence ends and Misha's thoughts begin. In order to atone for hurting a young girl's feelings, you should definitely join the student council. No! How about a game of paper football instead of rich man, poor man? Paper football? Yeah, it's a game they play in America. You make a paper triangle. Bro, I was actually talking about this on fucking stream yesterday. About how the only origami I know is how to make, like, a paper football. That's fucking crazy that that's happened, that got brought up today. I literally talked about this in Persona yesterday. And then you try to shoot it past the goalpost and the other team makes it with their fingers. Isn't it cool? It's the ultimate form of competition between two people, Hikchan. And it's also played by elementary and middle school children. Hikchan, that means it's a game that really separates the boys from the men. More like the boys from the slightly older boys. Anyways, I'm not going to play that either. Just the fact that you know about it means you're probably surprisingly good at it. Yeah, that's true. How did you know that, Hikchan? Shizune frowns at Misha, telling me that she probably wasn't supposed to admit that so readily. I want to say that I'm happy with her attempts to get me into the student council, but I'm a little bit curious about what the student council does here. I've never been on one before, or even know anyone who was a member, so it interests me. I also kind of like Shizune and Misha, so maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Okay, Hikchan, how about Risk, the game of world domination? I don't know what that is. It's really fun, Hikchan. You fight for control of the world, with armies and everything. Sounds like Shizune would be good at it. If you want to play, we can after school. Really, Hikchan? We can play it just for fun. Hikchan hasn't played in a long time, so if you want to, there are no strings attached. Well, okay. Okay. This is totally hentai game masked. So, like, I do know it's a dating game. I don't know how far it goes into that aspect, though. I was actually a little bit worried about that when I first started playing. Like, am I gonna have to blur some parts of this game? But, like, when I go to the tags, the only thing it says is visual novel, romance, dating sim, anime, and 2D. And I read some of the Steam reviews before downloading. I haven't seen anyone say that there's any sort of, like, sexual content in this game. Because I feel like if there was, there would have been a warning. Also, I just realized how dangerous it was scrolling down like this, more for you. There's absolutely, like, hentai games in my more for you. I really should be careful on Steam. Wait, why there? Because that's where we keep the game. I grimace to tell them how much I do not like this, but it's more for show than anything. So in the end, I agree. But only after getting Shizune to acknowledge that I don't mean anything concrete just by accepting to take a look around and play a game with her. Lunch ends and we go back to class. During afternoon classes, the long-haired girl comes back and sits down in her seat without a word. Again, no one seems to notice. Or if they do, no one says anything. I want to ask Misha about it, but I don't want to be nosy. After school, Shizune and Misha quickly find me by the first floor lobby and latch onto me, covering each flank in case I might try to escape. I feel a little offended, but I'd been considering it. Nevertheless, I'm a bit disturbed that enough people have made a break for it in the past that they're trying their guard. What's with the escort? This doesn't make me feel very comfortable. In fact, it makes me feel like a dangerous prisoner being transported to his cell. What's wrong, Hikchan? That's right. We're just going to play a game of Risk, remember? I don't know, Misha. This all seems a little sinister to me. I start thinking that when we sit down to play the game, they'll tie me down and torture me until I agree to the student council. I mean, I wouldn't say no to that either. Well, that's highly unlikely, but still, for some reason, it just seems like it would be so plausible. Getting to the student council room is as simple as turning 2 corners from where we started. What, that's it? This makes you guys being so on top of me seem a little silly. That's not true, Hikchan. Shikchan says that when their life is threatened, people have shown the capability to pull off superhuman bursts of speed. Life is threatened? Her expression unchanging. Misha signs something amusedly to Shizune, who makes a baffling face and puts her hands behind her back, looking pleased with herself. Misha feigns deafness and hums cheerfully. Stop that. I know you heard me. You have no excuse, unlike Shizune. Shizune opens the door to the student council room. It's very plain, sparsely decorated, although it's quite large, maybe even a little larger than a classroom. There's a big table in the center surrounded by chairs and a smaller desk prominently placed in the back that I assume is Shizune's. There are a few regular desks and chairs stacked to one side. As well, extras perhaps. Aside from the tables and chairs, the room doesn't have much else to offer. Just a couple of filing cabinets and bookshelves stacked with old school records and documents. Not much else. In fact, nothing else. This is a pretty bleak room. They could at least put some potted plants in here or something. But the most noticeable thing in the room doesn't have is other people. Are we early? No. What do you mean no? Does it mean no one else is coming today? Yeah, that's right. Before I manage to ask why that's the case, Shizune claps her hands together very energetically. Hikchan, let's play Risk. Come on. You promised, didn't you? You have to. Okay. Do you want to know the rules? We can explain to you why we set up everything. While Misha is talking, Shizune takes out what looks like a board game from behind one of the filing cabinets and throws it on the table. Actually, this looks kind of interesting. So I've never actually played Risk before. I obviously I know what Risk is, I've just never played it. I played Settlers of Catan. That one's pretty fun. I think I played the Dark Souls board game with my brother. That was an interesting one. I played Sorry, Monopoly. I'm trying to think of other board games that I might have played. I really wasn't a big like board game player until we started doing like Dungeons and Dragons, and then back when my brother was doing the Dungeons and Dragons streams, we had a day where we did Dungeons and Dragons. We had another day that was dedicated just to gaming and like horror games. And we had a third day that was dedicated to like board games. Or card games, where we mainly did like Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic. Yeah, I don't think I played Risk like ever. Alright. Sorry, I'm getting like super winded. I feel like I'm gonna need an inhaler after all this fucking talking. After Misha spends a little too long for her liking running through the basics with a somewhat vague and confusing tutorial, Shizune cuts in and declares the game has started with a decisive motion, slicing her arm through the air. Shizune's aggressiveness is rubbing off onto me. I start feeling more competitive than I intended to be when I agreed to this. Halfway into the game, while I try to ponder how to defend against Shizune's assault from 2 fronts, she breaks my concentration by drumming her fingers on the table to get my attention. Hikchan, Shikchan wants to know that you are talking, wants you to know that you're taking too long to make a move. Shikchan also says that she will let you keep Australia if you agree to join the student council. I thought this was a game with no strings attached. Just the fact that she would dangle that over my head as an offer means that she knows I care about the outcome of this game. And anyway, no. Shikchan admires your fighting spirit and would be a benevolent dictator who will spare your people if you agree to join the student council. You're so competitive, Shizune. She seems to take that as a compliment. I would expect the student council president to be a little more magnanimous. God damn. I'm learning big words. She doesn't seem to know what the word means or how it's signed, so she pulls out a piece of paper and writes it for Shizune, who in return signs it back to Misha. Misha presses her index fingers against her temples as if trying to physically imprint the word into her memory. Suddenly, Shizune bursts into a flurry of gestures. Misha looks daunted by the pace at her heated signing. Oh, wait, please slow down, Shik-chan. Shik-chan says you're going to lose. Tell her I will crush her world empire with my rebellion. Okay. Those eyes of hers shine with childlike mischievous. Oh, yo, I just realized he gave her a cat face. She says you have no chance if you keep playing like this. No, you won't. She has a point. Attack aggressively. It's a trap. It's smarter to play defensive here. Yeah, I'm gonna play defensive. It's likely that she's just trying to psych me out. Looking at the board again, I have a pretty good defense setup, and I'm not going to wreck it doing something reckless. A few turns later, I lose the game anyway. Shizune adjusts her glasses victoriously and allows herself to tentatively pump a fist in the air in celebration. Hik-chan, you lost when you allowed me to take North America. I mean, Shik-chan, not me. Getting control of North America is ambitious because it provides a 5-army bonus, but you can attack it from 3 fronts, so you must defend them all. I thought you'd have more guts. How disappointing. Ambition, Hik-chan. You need to... your plays need to be more daring. Ambition. I was really excited when you took South America, but then you switched to playing defensively just because you gained a small advantage. That's no good, Hik-chan. You didn't take enough risk, and when you did, you didn't follow through. That's terrible, Hik-chan. Damn. What's it to her if I played too carefully? There's no need to rub it in my face. I wonder if you even be any good for student council. What's this, reverse psychology? I guess I don't have to worry about joining or not in that case. Giving up just like that? I expected more of you. Seriously, is Shizune trying to taunt me into joining the student council? Besides, I don't even want to join. It's only my 2nd day. I can't make that kind of commitment. I haven't even taken a look at any of the other clubs yet, and these two, they're a little weird. Fine, I'll consider joining the student council, but I want to take a look at the other clubs before I decide. Really, Hik-chan? You're not just saying that to make us feel better? Yeah, I'm just not sure what I want. That's what I want. Ah. Okay, Hik-chan, but we're not going to give up so easily. You said maybe. There's still a chance you'll come around. Come on, we could really have fun. We could play more Risk, and maybe one day you could beat me. Unless we graduate before that. That doesn't make me feel any less reluctant about joining, you know. Surely you are not that horrible at board games. Maybe we can play a game you know then, to give you a handicap. I might have said that just to make you feel better after all. Ah, that's cold, Hik-chan. I take a glance at the clock on the wall and realize I spent far longer playing Risk than expected. Sorry. I think I have to go. I wanted to go to the library. It's not closed yet, is it? Shizune scratches her head and gestures at Misha. How hard can it be to determine whether the library is open? There's a clock right there on the wall. It should be, unless the librarian is absent. I think you're right, Shik-chan. We think the library is open. It's on the 2nd floor. Can't miss it. Do you want us to show you where it is? No thanks. It's okay. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. One flight of stairs up and I run into problems. The 2nd floor hallway is a carbon copy of the 3rd floor one. Wide, of course, and plain. Like only hallways can be. The problem is that the library's whereabouts are not as easily determined as one would think. The classrooms are marked with signs stating which class they belong to, but then there is a plethora of other unmarked rooms. Is the library one of them? Or is it just somewhere down the hallway? I bet on the ladder and choose the direction at random. After I turn around a corner, an unmarked door draws my attention because it's not closed. It's not open either, though. Just barely ajar so that I can see its opening. See it's open and nothing else. It would make sense for this to be the library door, to be invitingly open, and while this one is not quite that, it's good enough. At the very least, it means that someone is inside, and I can ask for directions, no matter how embarrassing that is. I gingerly pushed open the center of the door with my fingertips, every muscle in my arm ready to pull back at a moment's notice. The feeling of being an outsider to the school can't be shaken from my mind, so much so that I instinctively fear doing something wrong by entering. The door slowly creaks as if groaning from a deep sleep, though it's much easier to open than I anticipated. Leaning over and poking my head ever further inside to gain sight of the room as fast as possible, the meek hello on my lips is quickly snatched away. This is not what I was expecting. I mindlessly let the door open to its full extent, taken in the sight of the solitary figure taking center stage in the otherwise abandoned room. The situation steals my voice, leaving me standing at the doorway staring at the beautiful girl. Evidently having taken her time to assess the situation, the girl gently puts down her teacup and opens her eyes, but doesn't look at me. Hello there. May I help you? Staring directly in front of her, the movements of her lips seem to break the silence rather than words. However, it's the soft, measured voice that reminds me she's a being separate from the room itself. Not only is she likely the tallest girl I've ever laid eyes on, but even among the foreigners I've met, she's strikingly distinct. Hi, sorry for intruding. I was just kind of lost. She takes a moment to formulate a response before speaking. Every action she takes feels as if it's carefully choreographed beforehand. Care to take a seat? Unexpected, considering that I'm intruding upon her. Thanks. I slowly step towards another seat opposite of her, the girl resting the teacup on the saucer on the wooden table in between. The way she doesn't track my movements with her head is telling. That and the slight cloudiness of her eyes means she must be the least partially blind. Must at least be partially blind like Kenji. Come to think of it, her voice doesn't have any detectable accent either. I guess she must be half Japanese. As I take my seat, her composure takes me slightly off guard. Her air of relaxed confidence makes the silence entirely comfortable. The calming atmosphere is so very different from the student council office. I take it you're a new student to Yamaku. Yeah, I just transferred in yesterday. I get the distinct feeling my speech patterns don't match the formality of hers. Assented by her restrained bow of greeting. One which I hasten to match before realizing the futility of the action. I'm Lily. Pleased to meet you. Hisao. She gives a nod before gesturing roughly in the direction of her teacup. Would you care for a drink? Sure. As much as it pained me, I can't keep step with her formality in the proceedings. She gives a kind nod, taking the request in stride. Without another word, she steps off the chair and prepares a second cup of tea from a collection of supplies laid out among the shelves. A brush here, a brush there. Her left hand often lightly touches the side of whichever container she's pouring into. It seems to be a process she's followed dozens of times before. As I lean sideways to see around her, she seems to use her long, dainty fingers to measure the right amount of water in the cup. It's one thing to see the different disabilities the students in my class have, but it's quite another to see how everyone seems to adapt. Shizune and Misha have no problem working together to communicate to me, and Lily herself seems to have workarounds for problems I'd never thought of. While I feel slightly guilty about her doing the work, she seems pleased to be following the correct process of her offerer, preparing the drink. So, her soft voice brings me out of my silent observation. Which room were you looking for? It's not often this classroom is visited after school. The school library. Shizune and some classmates told me it was on this floor. She finishes pouring water into the teacup as she nods, a small metallic tapping coming from the teacup indicating it's being stirred. I'm aware of Miss Hakamichi, as are most students. To be with them means you're in class 3-3, no? That's right, in the science room with Matao. She gives a small giggle before setting down the teaspoon and slowly walking towards the table, teacup and saucer in hand. He's quite a character. I imagine you'll come to like him. Most do. As she sets down the tea, I gently take it and have a sip. I'm really more of a coffee person, but this seems like a rather bad moment to bring that up. Yeah, I'm not really a big tea drinker either. I've only recently started drinking tea whenever I get sick, or, if I don't have anything else in the room to drink. But other than that, like, I don't really drink tea often. But I have such a massive stockpile, because when my fucking ex and me separated, she just left all of her tea shit just, like, sitting in the cupboards. There's easily, like, 400 tea bags of just, like, so many different types of tea that I'm probably never going to go through. I've almost debated, like, giving them away, but then my mind's always like, you know, there could be that one time I get sick and I really need tea. Or that I really get into tea and then I have none when I need it. I guess I can just keep it as, like, spare caffeine if I ever need to get a quick fix. Nonetheless, the smell's quite nice. I hardly think it'd be hard to choke it down. Thanks, Tatao. It tastes really nice. She smiles and quickly waves her hand in front of my face. Lily, please. There's no need to be too formal. She says this in spite of her exceedingly well-bred speech. Oh well. I guess I should try and ask her about herself, as it really does seem as if she's catering to me. So which class are you from? I imagine it's one of the third-year classes? Correct. I'm in class 3-2, which is on the third floor, same as yours. It's taught by, Miyagi, and is specifically for both blind and partially blind students. I see. Oh, I mean, sorry. I feel like slapping myself for that frax pass. The fucks pass. What? How do I say that word? Is it actually just fax? Fax pass? Fucks pass? No, I'm saying fuck. That's not what I mean to say. Looking at her, though, she doesn't seem in the least bit put off by it. My, there's no need to change your speech on my account. Sure, sorry. I guess I'm not really showing my newness here. An environment like this would be a big change, so I can't fault you for it. While the same can't be said for everyone, many have come to terms with their conditions. A category which would include her, it seems, all too ready to jump ship from the, particular topic. I segue into another. Do you come here to drink tea often? It's a really nice place. Thinking on it, this might be her version of a place behind my school that I like to have lunch at. It's pronounced like faux pas? That's weird. Because the way that it looks, does not lead me to believe that it's said like that. But I mean, you would probably know better than me. I speak English, but I'm not good at it. It's French? Of fucking course it is. Goddamn Frenchmen. Only they would make something so sophisticated. Well, I think that melatonin actually worked. I think my kid is knocked out. You know, this is going to be the only way I can get her on a normal sleep schedule. I don't like the idea of giving my child melatonin, but I do need my kid to actually, like, wake up for school and not be up until 3 o'clock in the morning like she has been. This kid has turned more into me than me. She fucking sits up until 3 a.m. on her phone just watching YouTube videos. Also, my daughter is starting young. This kid is already into K-pop. She went to her mother's, to the movie theaters to watch that new K-pop Demon Hunter movie. It's like one of her favorite movies now. And she loves the songs in it too. I just hope she doesn't grow into like a weird K-pop stan. I come here fairly often during lunch times. My duties as class representative don't leave long enough time For an official club, and I use this room for having tea. You gotta fix her by making her listen to Nightcore? I think I would actually rather have her listen to K-pop. I really can't stand Nightcore. I had a friend in high school that's like the only genre he would listen to was like really popular pop songs, but just redid with like a Nightcore like theme over it. I can't stand it. I really shouldn't say friend because it's not like me and this kid ever had like we didn't really have a lot in common. He loved all the games that I fucking hated, like Rocket League. Uh, he was a brony, which I mean I was a furry, but I hated bronies. How about funk? What is that? I don't even think I've heard of that either. I am so fucking like out of touch. Class representative, huh? Compared to Shizune, her mannerisms seem to be almost completely opposite. While Shizune is blunt and fiercely driven, Lily seems relaxed and calm, almost aloof. Come to think of it, she might be useful for less biased views of the school club. What kind of clubs are there to join? The more popular ones are the track and field club, which uses the field near the school during lunch breaks, the baseball club, and the book club in a room near the library. There are also numerous small ones too, though, such as the art and music clubs. At the time, when I'm just wanting to get on my feet, rushing into a club right away seems slightly unappealing. I wonder if this school shares the same rules as my old one. Is it compulsory to join a club? It isn't, though it is encouraged. The high bass zoomer music used for edits. What if I just make her listen to like heavy bass like Russian music? Like, is that literally just called like hard bass? Oh, good. That's a relief. I've really let down my guard around this girl to let such things slip out. The fact seems to slightly amuse her. Not wanting my tea to get cold, I finally start drinking it as Lily does the same. Honestly, I prefer tea cold, if I'm being honest. I think cold tea tastes better than warm tea. As I look over to the window, over her shoulder, I notice the light coming through into the room has distinctly grown orange. Or a distinctly orange tint. Even here, time doesn't stand still. Huh, the time's gone quick. Sorry? Right, she's blind. Of course she can't see the sun setting. It just looks like the sun's starting to set. It seems to come as a surprise for her. I guess she must have lost track of time. Sorry, Sal. I didn't mean to keep you from the library for so long. I quickly move to allay her concern. Oh, no, it's okay. The library's still open, isn't it? She pauses and takes a moment to think of it. It's probably something I should have asked Shizune when I had the chance, but Lily seems likely to know in any case. True. It's open until 6:30 during weekdays. A quick glance at my watch confirms I have well enough time to get there. I might get going in that case. It's been nice talking to you, Lily. She smiles and gives a deep nod, her hands still neatly folded on the table in front of her. It was my pleasure. Oh, come to think of it, shall I show you to where the library is? I couldn't possibly ask for more help. I should be able to find it all right. Well, unless my navigational skills fail me. Which they seem to have a habit of doing. It's alright. I was going to be talking to the librarian there in any case. I could introduce you. This gets better and better. It's pretty hard to deny her offer. If you're sure, then it'd be great. Thanks. As she stands up to follow me, she takes hold of a straight, retractable cane that had been slipped in the handle of her bag on the floor. Compared to the cane the boy in my class had, Lily's looks much thinner and longer. His must be for support, whereas Lily's is for navigation. Together we leave the peaceful room and enter the empty hallway to the library. Side by side, my pace carefully slowed to match hers. We slowly walk through the hallways. It doesn't take long for us to arrive at the door to a warm-looking room, apparently situated in the center of the floor rather than either wing. Ladies first. She gives an appropriate smile at the gesture, taking the lead as we file in. To the left is a wooden library counter, with the library proper being on the right. It easily dwarfs my school's library, with the distinct smell of old books giving the place an almost old-world air. There don't seem to be a lot of students here. Considering the time, it isn't a big surprise. Everyone's probably either in the school grounds or the dorms. Yuko, are you here? She says in the thin air. She says it to the thin air since the librarian doesn't seem to be present, and of course Lily can't see this. What's unexpected is that it draws a reaction. Something from under the counter thuds against it, followed by a quiet wail. Ah! The origin, apparently the librarian, quickly crawls out and bounces up to extremely rigid attention. Hi, Lily, how can I help you? Her voice is strained in a failing attempt to sound casual, and she's rubbing the back of her head. Good afternoon. What happened just now? I heard a strange noise. She hiding under the desk? It's nothing, I just hit my head. See, I dropped an eraser under my desk, and while I was looking for it, a pencil dropped, and when I was looking for both of them, you came and surprised me. Are you alright? I'm sorry, I couldn't know. It's okay. It's okay. Sorry for making you worry. This is nothing. I've had worse happen to me. So, unsurprisingly, the streams for this game will probably be very short, as my voice will most likely give out if I keep talking for like 4 to 6 hours straight. So, at least we got a little bit of Zenless in the beginning. Otherwise, this would be a very short stream tonight. She's quick to reverse Lily's apology, almost frantically trying to push aside the possibility that she could be in any way inconvenienced by bashing her head in the counter. Yes, worse things have happened. The girl fidgets with her fingers as Lily doesn't seem to drop her concerned expression, and then she shuffles some papers around the counter for no reason. A little shorter than Lily, replete with glasses, freckles with a very troubled look, and seems to fit a library perfectly. Oh, Lily, did you get my message? Message? Oh, the 2 imported books that arrived? Right. They finally came. I can't believe it took so long, but... Amidst her celebration, particularly for managing to change the topic, I'm sure, she notices me from the corner of her eye and freezes on spot when she does. Oh no, I'm sorry for not noticing you before. Did you need to check a book out, or return one? I'm sorry. The way she can so easily shift between moods is a little unsettling. He's with me. Yuko, this is Hisao, a new student. Hisao, this is Yuko, the school librarian. Pleased to meet you. Hisao, right. Hisao, pleased to meet you too, Hisao. You don't have to say my name 3 fucking times. I'm not Bloody Mary. For a second, she visibly attempts to engrave the name on her mind, so she won't forget. Yuko often arranges to import books in Braille for me. We actually have, at the hotel, we have, like, numbers for the floors and, like, in the elevators with Braille. I've never seen anyone use them, but they're there for that. But then again, I guess it's not often that I see very many blind people that don't have, like, an aide or someone with them. Would you like to tell Hisao a little something about the library? Lily's innocent suggestion is met with an expression of abject horror. Or terror. I mean, horror works too. Please, Lily, I can't. I don't know what he could be interested in. This is too much responsibility. How's it any responsibility at all? I don't get. But her rejection is so sincere, I doubt for a second that she would rather disembowel herself on spot than tell me where the light novels are. Light novels are. God damn. I am so sorry. I really, I really do wish I could read better. I need to fucking take a drink. I really want to play this game. I'm always, like, super embarrassed when we have to play, like... Because even with Persona, I get a little bit embarrassed when we have to play, like, really text-heavy games. Because, like, I'm not really good at speaking, or, like, I guess reading and then speaking. And then on top of that, like, I've always used to have a really bad, like, stutter growing up. It's still, like, prominent sometimes. Not as bad as it used to be. Like, I used to be borderline mute when I was a fucking kid. I outright, like, refuse to speak. Now you can't get me to shut the fuck up sometimes. But, so there are a lot of books in Braille here. I attempt to save the day by asking the first thing that pops into my head. It seems to work at least partially, as Yuko seems to, not exactly relax, but at least look slightly less tense. Well, I think about a third or fourth of Yamaku's library is either in Braille or audio. Makes sense, given all the blind students that be here. If it's only that, how come this library is so big in the first place? Well, we get a lot of new books regularly because the library is adequately endowed. That's probably why. They spend more on new books than on my salary, and then I have to organize and shelve them all. It's so troublesome, and they waste so much. I wish I could quit this job. A very awkward silence follows this revelation of too much information. I'll go check the aisles then, if you don't mind. It's probably best for all of us if she doesn't keep talking to me. Very well. Meanwhile, Yuko, I would have those books if it's alright with you. Yeah, you ever had those weird teachers that are a little bit, like, too open about their job? My first impression was right. The library is surprisingly big. Ambling down the narrow aisles, I study the spines of the books in random order, occasionally sliding one out to read what? Read the blurb. What the fuck is that? A short description of a book, movie, or other products written for promotional purposes and appearing on the cover. What? Just say you're reading the fucking cover of the book. How do you even fucking say this?
Blurb.
Oh, I was right, it was blurb.
Blurb. Blurb. Blurb.
I hate English. I hate English so much. In a few moments, I have a respectable stack of books in my arms. I guess I'll never be stuck for a choice here. The normality of a library sinks in. Sure, there are large prints of Braille books scattered throughout, but it is what it is, a library. It's as if the calm mood from the room I had tea with Lillian snuck in with us. Unless it was here to begin with. Something about that puts me at ease, just like before. I reach the end of the aisle and find a collection of desks, set up for study or personal reading. Going a little further, though, I discover a nice quiet corner of the back. While the rest of the library has the odd student sitting at the desk either reading or stealthily sleeping, the back is pretty much deserted. As I glance around, I see someone who I recognize sitting on one of the several beanbags. It's the dark-haired girl from my class, the one who snuck out of classroom earlier. She's reading a book, keeping it close to her face, which makes her look like she's really into it. From the way she was acting today, I had her pegged as more of a delinquent than a bookworm. In fact, her mysterious disappearance from the class raises all sorts of whys in my head. Intrigue floats slowly but surely there, towards the surface, and before I know it, I'm walking towards the mysterious long-haired girl. I guess there's no harm in introducing myself, as I would with anyone else. She's a classmate, after all. Walking over to another beanbag, I take a seat and lay my book beside it. The girl starts, looking scaredly up at me from underneath her fringe. This is the first time I've seen her this close. Underneath her long, dense bangs, I can see that part of her face, at least a third of it, if not half, is pretty badly scarred. My eyes are immediately drawn to the scar, subconsciously peeking past her hair until they meet her own eyes. For a second, I am shocked and divert my eyes to the book in her hand, before I realize that she's looking away probably only makes it worse. It takes too many seconds to collect my thoughts and remember what I walked up to her for. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you. It's okay. The girl certainly doesn't look like it's okay, but I let it slide. So, do you mind if I sit here? She seems to be very uncertain whether it's okay for me to sit next to her, but she finally nods just a little. Okay. I take the seat next to her, and she hides herself behind her book. Life of P? Never heard of it. Oh, yo, that's the Souls game. Sir, sorry again for startling you. I'm Hisao. She looks up from her book, stalling a little before replying. I know. We are in the same class. Her speech is stilted and so quiet that it's barely audible, even in the still library. Somehow I think that my delinquent impression of her was wrong. Hanako. I'm Hanako. I resist her urge to say, that's a nice name, just to have something to say, but really, it's the only thing I can think of. I feel like an idiot. Everyone here must be used to being different to each other, and here I am all bothered and fussed about that kind of thing. Don't let me interrupt your reading. I'll just check these books if you don't mind. She nods a little and signs a little sigh of relief. So I try to read the cover and the introduction of this book I picked up, and she buries her face back into hers. Uncomfortable silence consumes us. My eyes still wander to her direction, and I sneak peeks at her flowing hair and the scar it's hiding. After a while, I realize that she's doing the same and only pretending to be immersed in Liza P. Or Life of P. Wait, no, I'm thinking of Liza P. I think Life of P is that book. Isn't it the boy who, like, rides the ocean with, the fucking, like, tagger or something? It is, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. I'm at least slightly educated. Her gaze is not inquisitive at all, though. It darts around like a scared rabbit. When her gazes finally meet, the chain reaction is unstoppable. She stands up forcefully from the beanbag chair and takes a deep breath. I've got to do something. Without warning, Hanako takes off and runs towards the counter. Her hair-like takeoff catches me so off guard that I don't manage to go after her until she has a good head start. By the time I reach the counter, she is nowhere to be seen. Lily and Yuko are happily chatting away. Knowing that I won't be able to catch Hanako myself, I approach the girls. Hey, did you notice a girl run past here? It's a little fucked up, but... Aw, I feel bad for Lily. Maybe. What does she look like? Long, dark hair, kinda shy. She had, well, some scars on her face. You wouldn't be talking about Hanako, would you? Yeah, that's her. I saw her reading and I tried to talk to her, but I think I scared her off or something. Oh dear. Yuko, would you excuse me? I had better try and find her. Sure. I'll just hold on to these until you come back. What's going on? I'm sorry, but I'll have to explain it to you some other time. Right, I'll see you later then. Lily hastily grabs her cane and hurries out of the library, leaving me alone with Yuko. I don't think I'll ever get the hang of this place. Did I do something wrong? What did you do? Nothing. I was just looking for some books and then she got this fit and ran off. The most offending thing I could think of was I might have looked at her general direction a few times. Well, she is a very timid girl. You have to be careful around her. She can be very jumpy, I think. And she's not accustomed to talking with other people. Isn't that a bit strange? I wonder, it's just how she is. I think. Yuko doesn't sound all that convincing. Then again, maybe this is just the norm around here. Everyone has their problems, or else they wouldn't be here. But how should I deal with these people? Forcing myself to act overly casually only makes me feel phony. Like I was supposed to be ignoring the elephant in the room. Yuko fidgets, looking like she wants to say something to that, but resist it. I think it's an elephant only if you feel that way. I guess she doesn't have a good sense of self-restraint. It makes me smile, and she blushes heavily. What? Did that sound stupid? No, it sounded really wise. I guess you're right. It's more about me than anyone else. Neither of us has anything to add, so Yuko fills the silence by shuffling some papers around. People who have papers on their desks really like doing that. Did you find any books? I should be closing soon. I mean, this library should be closing. But I have to do it. I hope that's not too inconvenient for you. Oh, yeah, I want some books, but I left them over there because... I'll just go get them. I fetched my stack of books from beside the beanbag where Hanako and I were sitting and returned to the counter. Wow, you read a lot, don't you? I surprised myself with that too, honestly. At least when I really think about it. I had a lot of free time earlier this year, so I kind of started reading books to fill that time. I couldn't do much else. I see. But she doesn't say anything else and just checks out my books. Yeah, no one asked me, like, what my condition is. Like, everyone in the school is, like, noticeably handicapped. Like, Shizune is deaf and mute. And, like, that girl has a scarred face. The other one's blind. And no one's really, like, asked me, like, so what the fuck's wrong with you? You seem pretty normal to me. I guess this is what they call tech. Holding the library books with one arm, I trawl my pocket for the key to the door. A sudden sound from behind startles me, making me nearly drop the books I'm carrying, or the key that almost managed to get into the lock. Who is it? I turn around and see who it is, talking to me. It's Kanji. He seems to be in a friendly mood, although the light glinting off of his glasses in the dark gives him a sinister look. It's just me. This makes him pause and licks his lips nervously. Who is me? I don't know anyone called me. Are you some new guy again? His voice is suddenly strained and quick. Yes, but we met before. Yesterday. I don't think so. I would remember someone who I met only yesterday. When was that? What day is it today? I try to ignore him. Is he joking or what? Prove that we met before. You live across the hall. You're Kenji. Kenji jumps back, his eyes filled with an incomprehensible fear. How do you know my name? Damn. This can only mean one of two things. Either we have met, and you are telling the truth, and I just can't remember it, or you're a spy. He pauses. A psychic spy. His eyes dart around me, trying to peek into my room. Although it's hard to believe he can see anything through those thick glasses. Is this guy even blind, or is he just, like, schizophrenic? His mood swung from friendly to manic in less than a minute. I'm not psychic. How do I know that? I'm not a mind reader. Kenji points a finger in my face, damningly. Unlike you. Oh, you know who this guy kind of reminds me of, actually? He kind of looks like Crocker from Fairly Odd Parents. I know you have fairies! Stop that, man. We just met yesterday. What's wrong with you? I live in this room. Lies. If you think you can pass as Hisao because I'm legally blind, you are surely mistaken. You don't even look like him. I mean, the resemblance is real. Real slim. Maybe at a distance. But who do you think you're kidding? I want to grab him by the shoulders and shake him. Exasperated, I rub my eyes and let out a heavy sigh. Stay there. Wait, I remember seeing this game? Yeah, it's free to play on Steam. Yeah, it's this game here. Yep, this is the game where every character has... It's a school for disabled kids. This was a game that actually like showed up in my recommended Steam games. Like the one and only time that it doesn't recommend me like fucking porn or like Gooner games. But yeah, no, this game looks fucking adorable though, which is why I downloaded it. I only remember because the dork you were talking to. Yeah, this is only like my second time talking to this guy. Kenji comes closer, one careful step at a time. I stay still. At least he assault me physically. Although I doubt he could do much damage even if he did. Oh wait, I see it now. Damn, it really is you. Sighing again, and then once again for good measure, I step backwards just in case. What's up, man? You don't look too good. I think. Something wrong? I don't know. Just had something stupid happen to me. A few stupid things, actually. Even if you discount this one. I can't get a proper touch on other people here, and I have no idea if it's because I'm me, or because of them. I don't know why I'm telling you this to you, Kenji. It's not like we've had any contact, either. That's rough, dude. Yeah, I'm sorry about calling you a psychic spy and all that, but you can never be too careful. You never know where the communists are. It's hard to believe reality we live in. I'm slowly starting to think that Kanji isn't necessarily living the same reality as the rest of us. You see, this is how it is, this world. There is no justice. You see, even when I lose, I win, because I don't lose the lesson. What does that even mean? It doesn't matter. He dismisses it flatly with a wave of his hand. So what happened? Why the long face? Do you have a long face? It's nothing. I just scared some girl off accidentally. Literally, too. She actually ran away from me. Was my fault, really, I think. I'm not really used to this yet. A girl? A cute one? Cute? That's a hard question. She had a nice body and a really beautiful hair. But the face? I guess it could go either way. She was cute. Yeah, cute, I guess. I knew it. There are a lot of cute girls here. A strangely disproportionate amount. I believe this is one of the dark secrets of the school. I tried to warn you, man, but did you listen? I don't remember any such warning. Dark secrets? Yes, dark secrets. Extremely dark, like a black hole. How does he know they're cute? Yeah, the fucking dude's blind. He practically, like, the only way that this dude was able to see me was he practically, like, almost kissed me on the fucking lips. We had to be nose level for him to actually see me. Have you noticed that the number of girls in this school is slightly but significantly higher than the number of boys? It's like a 60-40. Bro lied about his vision to get does. Disabled us. I mean, to be fair, like... I've seen, like, plenty of, like, really cute disabled girls. Like, actual disabled girls. Not the people that go on, like, fucking Reddit and then they just, like, look up their diagnosis and claim to be disabled. Like, actually, like, physically disabled and mentally disabled girls. I've seen, like, a couple of, like, decent-looking ones. There's actually a girl that I follow on TikTok that's a cosplayer that only has one leg. And she's actually, like, insanely cute. There's cute disabled, and then there's mobility scooter Walmart disabled. Yeah. Yeah, there's, like, people that are, like, disabled for things out of their control, and then there's just disabled as in living off the government. because they have no ambition or drive. Unfortunately, that's the majority of people that live in my area. Gorlock, Gorlock the Destroyer. When I actually first saw videos of Gorlock, I actually didn't even think it was a real person. I thought it was actually like an AI generated. I had to look into if she was actually a real person or not. He turns his head to the left and stares off into the distance at nothing. Why is it like this? I mean, to the untrained eye, it doesn't appear to be that bad, but that is at a full 20%. I would think that a school with such a huge pool of women would be a man's dream, but no. What am I about to tell you could blow your mind. Are you ready? I don't know where this is going, but I think I won't be missing much by cutting out now. Nah, I am not ready. I only get as far as turning the doorknob before Kenji starts talking again, showing that he doesn't really care if my mind is blown or not. I believe that this school is a battleground. The site of a feminist infiltration. What the fuck? Is this dude like... Well, he said the girls here were cute, but is he like an incel? How do you not wake up one day, look in the mirror, and not think that you might need a life change style? Yeah, I mean, I'm not even that big, and I feel that at 160. That I need to just, like, start working out again and get slimmer. Just because I've been so used and conditioned to just being, like, slender my whole life. Because, unironically, like, in high school, I averaged around, like, 80 to 90 pounds. And then once graduating, I averaged around, like 110 to 120. Like, 160, it doesn't sound like a lot for most guys, but it is for me, with how small, like, my frame and stuff is. And it's not like I'm short or anything like that. Like, I'm average height. I'm 5'9". The feminist infiltration. This disparity in number of men to women is a clear sign of how far they have come. In case this Cold War turns hot, they will have superiority in numbers. Just another skirmish in the eternal war against the forces of feminists. They're everywhere. In Japan, women outnumber men. It's not a 60-40 split, but it's only a matter of time, man. Even in America, women are the majority by a hair. They're building up their numbers. In the past, the buildup of a military has always been the clear sign of imminent war. Japan is just the first step. Our economy is badass, and the country itself is small and isolated, yet a huge part of the Pacific in terms of political value. The perfect target. They are so cunning, as expected of women. Soon, the day will come when... Kanji's voice trails off ominously. That is why you can't trust them. They will string you along, and then kill you, just as they killed me. You will end up just like me. Oh, hell no! I can't stop myself from blurting out. Hey, what the hell does that mean? You said it, not me. It's the best I can think of. So, you're not supposed to say something like that. Damn, so rude. Where was I? Oh yeah, the vast feminist conspiracy. Stop it, stop. I lost you way, way back. There somewhere. Somewhere around feminist infiltration. Too hard to follow? It's cool. I have some graphs and stuff in my room. And puppets. You like puppets? No puppets. You don't like puppets, okay. Graphs are still cool though, right? He speaks energetically, responding almost before I'm done talking, moving his hands in an animated way as he continues to rant on. This is too strange. I had him pegged as relatively normal, but it's clear that I was wrong. Something on your mind, dude? Just thinking about what it's like to be in the least sane man in the insane world. Kenji frowns, looking deeply upset. You mean that's you? That can't be because I'm the last sane man in an insane world. That is my dream. You can't just steal a man's dream. What the hell? There can't be at least 2 sane men. It would invalidate that whole last part. And the part is kind of important. There can only be one. Like in that foreign movie where there would only be one. And in the end, there was only one dude left. Because that was the point. I have never seen anyone talk so heatedly and so defensively about absolutely nothing before. Hey, yo, I've met someone like that in Mason's chat. Anyways, if you wait here, I can get my graphs. I also have a list of other dark and complex conspiracies that the school holds as tangled as... Quick, finish my analogy for me. Be a pal. I'm going to go to bed now. It's extremely late. That doesn't sound like an analogy, but whatever. I like you. You seem like a cool dude. Most people don't understand what I'm talking about when I try to explain the vast feminist conspiracy to them. Denial is a terrible thing. Later. He claps me on the back, then vanishes into his room so quickly and quietly. It's like he didn't even open the door, but instead walked through it like a ghost. I don't know if I can fully digest what just happened, so I give up and just go to my room, kicking off my shoes before falling face first into bed. It takes me some time to relax and get up so I can get started on homework. It's because the sheets are cool and comforting against my cheek, and it feels good just lying there with my eyes closed. Alright, I gotta catch my breath for a minute. Holy shit, dude. I'm actually, like, so lightheaded after just reading that much dialogue. I physically feel numb after reading that much and just talking for so much. And it also doesn't help that I just had, like, I'm on my second energy drink for today. Wow, I am, like, all tingly. Alright, like I said, these streams are not going to be very long, because talking is very difficult. This school is like some kind of bizarre and surreal island. It's isolated on top of a mountain, and each person is stranger than the last. I can't seem to fit in. What irony, one would think that fitting in a place that's made for people who are unfit for anywhere else would be easy. Maybe I'm trying too hard. Although I say that, it doesn't help take the edge off, and the words are left echoing off the empty walls. I guess it's not as bad as I expected, though. This place really is more of a school and less of a hospital pretending to be a school than I thought it would be. If nothing else, the scenery is beautiful. I open one eye, seeing school books and bottles of pills arranged side by side on my desk. Maybe this place is too much like a normal school after all. Well, make up your mind. Do you want it to be a school, or do you want to be disabled? I feel very tired this morning. Probably because yesterday itself was a very tiring day. On top of that, I woke up far earlier than necessary. After saying hi to Shizune and Misha, I start doing the work as instructed from the board. It already looks like today is going to be heavy. I don't have a problem with that now. Shizune and Misha might jump on me trying to get an answer about whether or not I've decided to join the student council, even if it's just one day. I want to put it past them to try, and I don't have an answer for them if they decide to do so. So the situation is convenient for me. About 10 minutes into class, Hanako walks in and takes a seat, but no one looks at her. The teacher doesn't even comment on her lateness. He does, however, stop to say that we're going to take a break into groups. Or we're going to break into groups. I turn my head and see that Shizune and Misha are looking at me. Shizune gives me a smile that is equal parts cute and menacing. This is a smile that says, "We have you now, there's no escape." Hik-chan! It seems like we're together again. Yay! Misha leans sideways while Shizune pushes her desk closer to mine. There really is no escape now, unless I were to jump through the window. Jumping out the window isn't the best option, sadly. What's wrong, Hik-chan? Oh, Hikchan, have you been thinking about what you said yesterday? You said that you were thinking about joining the student council, didn't you? It's okay, Hikchan. We were talking about it after you left, and it would be rude to accept you or expect you to already have an answer for us this early, right? I'm so happy you two are able to have a laugh at my expense, and even more pleased to know that you both know how crazy the two of you can be. Now that that's over, Shizune snaps back into a serious mode and smacks today's assignment with the back of her hand in an overly dramatic and important way. When I actually look at the stuff, it's mostly just reading. In fact, there are only two problems. I almost want to say something about how her rush to get started seems a bit much considering the small amount of work. In fact, Shizune probably knows how little there is and simply doesn't care. Yeah, it seems like the workload doesn't matter to her as much as the fact that there is work. The actual amount is unimportant. She approaches everything with the same level of ambition. While I'm reading, I let my eyes wander around the room and catch Hanako trying her hand at solving the problem. It looks like she's working alone. I can't remember seeing her work with other people before. Thinking back to how shy she is, it's understandable. Hey, that girl over there. Huh? Who, Hichan? Her, Hanako, over there. Does she always work alone? I think so, Hichan. Do you feel sorry for her because she's alone? I was just thinking that maybe she could work with us or something. No, I don't think that would be a good idea, Hichan. Why not? Shikchan wouldn't get along with her. Why? Misha shuffles around the question, letting out a laugh that sounds very strange. It's nervous, but still has that lifting up and down quality present in everything she does. Just because, Hichan. But now Shizune has noticed our conversation, and makes me realize again how Misha has been signing everything she has been saying the whole time. Look, Shikchan, the friend of my enemy is my enemy? That sounds so harsh. I'm not gonna say that. You said it anyways. I know, Hikchan. It's fine if you overhear. I wonder if this Misha's way of keeping things fair, since without her, I wouldn't be able to understand the things Shizune is saying and vice versa. Is that also why she signs all the time? So there is never a conversation Shizune will let out of? Anyway, we should start on the problems now, Hikchan. Yo, why is there beef between her and the burnt girl? We finish with time to spare and decide to ask if there are any alternatives to the cafeteria, as frankly, the food so far has been subpar. This sends Shizune and Misha arguing amongst themselves about their favorite restaurants. All of them are downtown, so I don't think we have time to go all the way there. And what about the bill? Are they arguing just for the fun of it? Maybe. They seem so distracted by it that they don't even notice that you start to eat actual lunch. I look over my shoulder towards the back of the classroom. She seems to be studying her notes from the previous class. It's an odd sight. Everyone else is in class busying themselves with the lunch break. Socializing, gossiping, rearranging desks. The ones with actual box lunches mixed in and chattering like everyone else, only interrupted by short bouts of eating. But when I watch Hanako, it feels that I'm the only one who can actually see her, almost as if she's invisible, sort of hiding in plain sight. Is she being bullied? Is she isolating herself from the rest of the class of her own accord? I see her over my shoulder towards the classroom's rear door. Come to think of it, she hasn't turned a page since I started watching her. I guess she's waiting for someone. What to do? Read my book, go talk to Hanako. Let's go talk to her. So far, Hanako's probably my favorite. I don't know, I just like shy girls, I guess. I still feel bad for making her run away yesterday, so I'd better say something. Hey there, Hanako. Hisao? Well, at least she remembers my name. Hey, I just wanted to apologize for yesterday. I didn't mean to startle you or anything. I'm just new here and I thought I should get to know my classmates. As Hanako looks up at me, I notice her scarring once more. It's a little bewildering that you can barely notice it from across the room. But it's so noticeable from up close. That's okay. It was my fault. No, that wasn't anyone's fault. It's just kind of happened. So are you waiting for someone? I saw you looking at the door before. Yes, Lily. Oh, you mean Lily, the blind girl. Hanako only nods in response, and I can't help but wonder if defining people through their disability is a... God, what the fuck did you say again? Faux pass? Faux pass of the worst kind, or just normal here. I guess that explains why Lily took off yesterday, or after her yesterday. She seems like a nice girl. Are you two friends? Yes. As if hoping for Lily to appear, she checks over her shoulder again. I think I'm making her nervous again. I hope I'm not disturbing you right now. No, that's not it. It's just easier if Lily doesn't come here. Oh, because it's hard to get around the classroom? Not really. Hanako gaze drifts past my shoulder and towards Shizune. Shizune? Hanako nods again. What about her? Don't they get along? Hanako shakes her head. Clearly this is something she doesn't want to talk about. It does make a strange sort of sense. Shizune and Lily not getting along so well. Communication between the two would be all but impossible. It's hard. Oh, yeah. Because one's fucking blind and deaf, and the other one's... mute and deaf, and the other one's blind, so, like, how the fuck would they communicate? Yeah, I didn't even think about that, actually. But is that really a reason for them to, like, beef with each other? I mean, I guess in fairness, I have autism, but I don't get along with a lot of other autistic kids. Not that I'm a kid, I'm fucking 26, but, you know. Communication between the two would be all that impossible. It's hard enough talking to Shizune through Misha, even when you can see whose hands are talking. Hanako is so focused on Shizune that I am the first to notice Lily at the door. Oh, she's here now. Hanako spins around to confirm this. Upon seeing Lily, she moves quickly to the door. Lily! Ah, Hanako. Good morning. Is the president here? Yes. Hanako glances over her shoulder at Shizune again, as if to confirm she can't hear them, even though that's impossible. I suppose we best be off then. Lily's sigh and tone of what seems like frustration makes me raise an eyebrow. I guess there's some kind of amity between the two of them. It's intriguing, but that's not really something I'd ask about. I'm sure if they wanted me to know, they would tell me. It's only my third day here, so I should be trying to make friends, not finding out people's enemies. Still, it's a little funny to find out that the school has little feuds, just like my old high school. Even if people are more tolerant of others, they're still going to get on each other's nerves. Hey Lily, how are things? I'm sorry I made you run off yesterday. Oh my, is that Hisao? I didn't realize you were here. It seems that Lily is a little embarrassed about being so frank in front of me. Sorry, Lily, I thought you realized. No, it's alright, Hanako. Hisao, please don't worry about yesterday. It was just a misunderstanding. If you say so, I'm still working this place out. Well then, I think you'll find most people here are a lot more forgiving than elsewhere. If you're feeling a little confused, please don't be afraid to ask questions. Sure, I'll remember that. Lily. Lily gives a small nod of acknowledgement. I'm sorry, Hisao, but we must be off. Hanako really doesn't look all that comfortable being here right now, and Lily still seems a little embarrassed. I wonder if my apology really made an impact. Mind if I accompany you two? I know I'm kind of pushing it, but Lily... quietly, still smiling. I'm sure that we could accommodate you. Can't we, Hanako? She looks at Lily, then at me, and then freezes, wide-eyed. Sure. Well then, shall we go? Alright, so immediately I'm liking these two way better than Shizune and Misha. There's still one more girl we haven't met, which is Rin, the girl with the stubs for arms. I'm sure Lily wouldn't do this so easily if she saw how scared Hanako looks, but it can't be helped. Declining after the deal is sealed would only cause confusion and problems. So we leave, all three of us, together. Lily walks beside the wall, letting her cane gently tap against it every now and then. Hanako comes along right beside her, so close that she's practically half hugging her as they go. Although it must make her walking that much harder, Lily takes it in stride. As we turn the corner of the hallway, something hits me in the chest with the force of a steam train. Hanako shrieks a little and my vision briefly goes black. Ouch. Opening... Oh, wait, no, there's still two people we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen, the girl with, no legs and the girl with no arms. Opening my eyes, I see a pair of saucer-like green eyes looking at me. They belong to the perpetrator, a short girl who bumped into me and has now fallen down onto the hallway floor. She wears a PE uniform and a very worried frown. The former strikes me as a rather strange thing to have on during a lunch break. More striking than that, though, is that she doesn't seem to have legs. Or she does, but they are not made of flesh and bone. Her pale and very much flesh and bone thighs ends in shins, and feet made of some black metallic or plastic material. They look disturbingly artificial and unnatural. It almost makes me forget that my chest is hurting. The girl winces a little, rubs her nose, and jumps up. Ah, man. Hey, are you alright? I'm sorry about that, really. I wasn't looking where I was going, and you just came out of nowhere. Sorry. She looks really apologetic in the hurt puppy way of looking apologetic. I quickly forget about being angry or anything, since hurt puppies are my weak spot. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Ouch. I say that, but there's a stinging pain growing in my chest, and I know that this is about the biggest possible danger for my condition. Don't overexert yourself. Don't forget your medication, and most of all, don't get hit in the chest. I try to rub my solar plex to chase the pain away, holding my breath in an attempt to hear my heartbeat. It seems normal. Hey, should I get the nurse? The worried, high-pitched voice of the girl snaps me out of it. I stare at her for a few seconds, dumbfounded, until I realize that I probably looked worse off than I actually was. Doubled over myself and look intense. Damn, I'm overly worried about my heart. No need. I'm fine. Managing to say something in response, I pull myself upright, feeling my sore ribs one last time, and take a deep breath. She just knocked the wind out of me. Big time. But it was nothing more than that. You sure you're okay? I hit you pretty hard. It's okay. I said it was fine and nothing's broke. No harm done. That's good. Hisao, what happened? She's not quite up to speed for obvious reasons, but she sounds very worried. More than what the situation deserves, really. Someone just bumped into me. Nothing serious, just winded. Sorry, it's my fault. I was just going to get some stuff, and I was kind of in a hurry. That somebody here is Emmy, isn't it? The little girl coughs quietly and shuffles her plastic or metallic feet, looking down at them before saying anything. Hi, Lily. Hanako. I guess the girls know each other. Do please try to be more careful. You might be sturdy enough to endure those sort of accidents. But there are people who aren't. The girl blushes and starts fidgeting like a little child caught misbehaving. It's so cute I find myself smiling. I know that. I was just... I gotta go. Teacher will have my head. I promised to help with printouts, but I went running instead. Sorry, but I gotta change and everything. Before any of us could say anything, Emmy has already bolted away, leaving the hallway eerily quiet. Does that kind of thing happen often around here? There are more rules in Yamaku than usual for running in corridors. But that rarely stops Emmy, it seems. She shakes her head weakly and offers a slight, composed smile. I don't think there's anything we can do to stop her, I'm afraid. Shall we be off then? Lily heads off along the hallway and Hanako hurries after her. The route to the room the two use for tea is fairly simple to retrace, being still fresh in my mind from yesterday. Lily and Hanako quickly go about the business of making lunch. But I can even open my small bag of food. Lily busying herself with the thermostats and tea bags as Hanako is setting out both of their lunch boxes. So, is this what you meant by coming here almost every day? Yes, Hanako and I usually have lunch here. It suits both of us, so we ended up using this room regularly. After seeing Hanako's reaction to me over the past couple of days, I can understand why this is a boon. That, and Lily being able to get some quiet away from her class as well. I take my seat last, after Lily's poured the tea for us to sit. Or the tea for us and sits down. Yeah, I sit in my tea. The more time I spend with these two girls, the more I think they're a perfect foil for Misha and Shizune. I mixed their names up for some reason. Even without a voice, Shizune is direct and brash, and Misha seems to get along with everyone. On the other hand, Lily is soft-spoken and relaxed, while Hanako seems to be the shyest girl I've ever met. So, how are you faring in Yamaku, Hisao? You seemed a bit flustered before. Apart from getting lost every now and again, and being crush-tackled outside my classroom, fine, I guess. You looked pretty hurt before. Are you really okay? For a brief moment, I consider telling Hanako and Lily about my condition, but then I hold it back. I can't tell why, but for some reason I feel uncomfortable talking about it to these relative strangers. Even if they have been pretty friendly. Yeah, it's nothing. I was just a bit startled. Judging from the two girls' expressions, I don't think that they're buying it, but what I assume is their way of respecting my privacy. They don't push past the matter. I guess that is one of the unwritten rules around here. Don't ask. Even if people's conditions are obvious, like Hanako's, there's still bound to be a story involved. Everyone has things they don't feel comfortable speaking about, and I think everyone here recognizes that. So, how long have you been in the school? You both seem to know your way around pretty well. Well, I've been here since the start of high school, but only moved into the dormitories a year ago. Hanako joined at the start of high school as well, and moved to the dormitories when she did, if memory serves me right. That's right, since high school. So you've known each other since then? Since I moved, yes. Hanako lives next door to me, so it's only natural, right? Right. Yeah, of course. Living next to someone is probably reason enough to befriend them, though I'm guessing that Lily's blindness played a part in it as well. I can't imagine Hanako easily making friends with someone who has to deliberately avoid looking at her scar. With the immediate conversation dried up, we start to eat our lunch. It isn't long before the bells are signaling the end of the break. Like me, the girls pack up their lunches as efficiently as they set them out. I guess I better be off. Are you going to go with Hanako? Hanako looks up at me, and for a second I can see that she is considering skipping class. Maybe just to avoid walking to the classroom with me. Yes. I don't know what to think of it. Hanako really is delicate to the point of breaking if looked at in the wrong way. It makes me a bit nervous too, but I push the feeling aside, trying to be as natural as I can. We should hurry then. Class has already started by the sounds of it. Lily gives a nod of farewell as she bends down to take her cane, Hanako and I filing out before her. We walk quickly down the hallways to the respective classes. As we reach for the door to Lily's 3-2 classroom, she turns towards me. Hisao, thank you for sharing lunch with us today. My pleasure, Lily. And with that, we part ways, Lily entering her classroom and leaving Hanako and me to make off to her own. She's still looking like she wants to run away. So, do you really want to go back to class now? Yes. Okay then. I feel like I should say something more to her, but it's hard to come up with anything that would be appropriate and safe enough. And Lily was right. The more time we spend out here, the more explaining we have to do. I open the rear door to the class and walk in. The teacher looks up at me and opens his mouth to say something. However, as Hanako follows me in and closes the door, he simply nods to us and continues his lecture. This is the third time that Hanako has had her truancy practically ignored. I'm assuming that's just like another word for like tardiness or something. The action of staying away from school without good reason. There's definitely something going on here. We make our way to our seats, and I notice that Misha and Shizune are both missing as well. I wonder if it's some form of informal agreement with the staff, or if it's a perk afforded to the unique students of the school. Trying to make as little disturbance as I can, I extract the relevant texts from my bag and start catching up. The class goes on quietly. The teacher seems like an okay person despite the weird first impression I got, and the material is relatively interesting. However, the way he teaches is really bizarre. It's as if he expects that everyone is a natural genius. When the final bell sounds, I realize that there is still a lot of time left in the day, and I'm left wondering what to do. It's odd. At the hospital I had 24 hours a day of free time, but here, filling the considerably shorter hours feels difficult. Everyone else leaves, and I'm left alone with the teacher. Mutao is examining the assignment sheets we were working on earlier, marking them with a red ball pen. Raising his eyes from his papers briefly, he notices me and furrows his brow. What is it, Naki? I jump at him addressing me, but I guess it's natural to spark some conversation since there's no one else around. Nothing. Just thinking about what to do after school. The teacher slowly puts the cap on his pen he is holding and arranges his papers into a stack, clacking it against the desk twice. He seems very, methodical, and for a brief moment I'm reminded of Shizune. The teacher is more unhurried and relaxed, much more routined. You have no plans? No, I consider joining a club, but I don't know what kind of club I would be that would interest me. Go observe a meeting or someone else's club. Might pique your interest. I guess. I don't know how to continue from there. Vital looks at me in a way that makes me quickly want to take the words back to avoid the conversation. But I can't, so I have to forge ahead. I just don't know how to deal with people. I mean, the other students. I'm talking to people and everything, so it's not that I'm isolated or anything. I just don't know what to think about the disabilities. It's like, it feels that I'm being impolite if I pay attention to them, and it's weird to ignore them. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. The teacher scratches his cheek absentmindedly, looking very unresponsive. These things are only an issue if you make them one. You can talk normally with someone, even if they are blind or something. Try to look behind the superficial. There is not a single student here who isn't just a normal kid behind whatever they might seem at first glance. He says the same thing as Yuko did. I know they're right, but it's hard. How can you not consider, for example, Shizune's deafness, when the only way to communicate with her is to talk through Misha? Or Hanako. It's not like you can ignore her face, but... I'm interrupted by the door of the classroom suddenly slamming open. Teacher! Misha crashes in, hands straight in an enthusiastic greeting, her voice loud and lively enough to wake the dead from their graves. She starts towards the teacher's desk with her bouncing step, hands energetically swinging with a rhythm. Vital, visibly dismayed at the interruption, and Misha in general, slumps in his chair. Misha stops in her tracks and looks around cluelessly, as she's sensing from his tone that something is wrong, but has no idea what. Yes? We have talked about volume control before. Yes. But she doesn't lower her voice at all, and the teacher just rubs his eyes. So, what is it? We need help. We're running out of supplies for the festival stands. This is the distress. She waves a pink slip of paper she's holding around. So, go get more supplies from the art room. What's the problem with that? Plywood. Plywood is always the problem. Last time we wanted more, there was only a little. But that time we just took it and went with it. Now there's like none left, so do you know where there is some? I don't understand. How would I know? Shichan, I mean, the president thought the teacher would know if there was plywood. Was she wrong? Mito looks like he is in great pain, frowning with his entire essence, and Misha doesn't get it at all. Looking at the two of them communicate is terrible. Like looking at a man being tortured by drilling his skull open while blasting pop music at full volume at the same time. I'm afraid I have no idea if there is any plywood in school, let alone where it would be. What should we do? Perhaps try to find Mr. Namida? Namida? I'm quite sure he would know where to find everything you need. You'd have to pry from... God, I am having such trouble reading right now. You'd have to pry them from his cold, dead hands, but that's a different matter. Oh, I don't have time. We're so busy. She holds her head with both hands, looking as despairing as it's possible for a person like her. Without even noticing, she crumples the note she's holding against her hair. I shouldn't even be fetching these things. There's so much to do and we're falling behind the schedule. Patel looks at her gravely and then suddenly smiles. Smiling doesn't really fit his face. I think it'd be better if he didn't. I wonder if you could get some temporary help. He switches to staring at me focusedly, with a hard expression, as if telling me to say, go make some friends. I guess I can give you a hand. You can? Thanks, Hik-chan. You really are nice. She pauses, does a double take, and then points at me with her fingers, yelping, Ah! And looks very puzzled. Come to think of it, what's Hik-chan doing here? Class is over. You should be having fun. We just had a little chat. Oh no, it's not detention, is it? Are you in trouble, Hik-chan? No, I'm not. Is Hik-chan in trouble, teacher? No, he's not. Matao signs deeply, and I feel that I have to help Misha to get her off the teacher's back. So what do you need? Here's a list. I can try to find the pine wood from somewheres, if there's none in the art room. She offers me the note she's holding. I take it, hesitating a bit. I said I'd help, but this has no implications on whether I'm joining the council or not. Ah. Still, thanks, Hik-chan. Try to be quick. We are in a stall building streak now. We must hurry. She bounces out of the classroom, leaving me and the teacher looking at each other with something that feels like a silent agreement. Well, there you have it. You have something to do now. Please don't sound so smug. Looking at the list with a number of items ranging from paint to plywood, all written with small knee handwriting that is undoubtedly Shizune's, I heave a sigh. I'll be going then. Waving the long list limply at the teacher, I exit the hallway. The classroom closest to ours are designated belonging to class 3-1 and 3-2 on the right side, and 3-4 on the left side, each door looking exactly the same. Further down the corridor, still with identical doors, are rooms that I don't think were used for classrooms. I guess the art room is not a classroom as such. I carefully push open the furthest door and peek in. It's a classroom, but it seems rather badly kept or not in use. Am I in the right place? Desks and chairs are all around the room, a thin layer of dust settled on them. There are some stencils in the corner, so at least this looks like the right place. The room is flushed in sunlight from the big windows, shadows creeping all the way over the desk. Specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making the beams of light almost visible. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. Anybody help? Something catches my eye mid-sentence. Sitting on the desk is a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform with a fork between her toes, a morsel of food stuck firmly between them. This odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me aback even more. How did I miss her before? She's sitting in a corner very still, but I still somehow took her as part of the furnishing, or a statue at first glance. I'm not being too observant today as a whole. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes like a rabbit in the headlights. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. I'm staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remembering I didn't finish my sentence, and trying to think if I should. This weird stalemate keeps us both stunned into silence, punctuated only by the wall clock ticking goddamn. I can never say that word. Rhythmically. Hello, strange girl. The girl stuffs the forkful in her mouth, and is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello. I was told to pick up some supplies from here, for some festival stalls, I think. I didn't think there would be anyone here. There isn't. That's why I came in here too. She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that mean you're here then? She raises her eyebrows, as if she was suspecting my observation was false. You're pretty observant. I guess it does. But who are you? This girl is pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Naki, Hisao Naki. I just transferred on Monday. I'm Rin. Tezuka Rin. Rin Tezuka. I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are. Or at least we know who we... Yeah, close enough. That's very nice. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. It kind of bothers me. Joking about these matters doesn't feel appropriate at all. Well, I'm trying to figure what's appropriate and whether this girl is. She seems to have lost interest in me and is now gazing yearningly back towards her food. Can I continue my lunch? If you don't mind me, I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff, the supplies are in the back. Go right ahead, but lunch. School's already over for the day. What word would you use then? There is no word for a meal you eat after lunch, but before dinner, right? It bothers me very much too. But I don't really know what I would say. I don't think you were supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with. But I'm hungry now, and my delicious boxed lunch would go to waste otherwise. I have curry. It's very delicious. With much decisiveness, Rin once again picks up a fork between her toes, and with at least as much impoliteness, she points it straight at me. So, Naki, what brings you to this place? Like I said, I was told to look for these things. No, the school. From outside, you look fine. Is your problem inside? I come to a full stop, opening my mouth but not getting a word out. I can guess. I am good at guessing. Better than most people. Rin cuts me off before I can answer her question, or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which I would have done. I froze in front of this issue again. I haven't even told anyone here about my condition, or maybe it's just because it hasn't really come up. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is part of the social code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if people here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shizune's circumstances, or Lily's either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Rin keeps considering what condition could be, with an overtly contemplative look on her face. She puts her fork between her lips and leans back, looking up at the ceiling as if the answer is written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other. I don't think it's anything in your head, and something in your guts would be boringly ordinary, like this lunch of mine, and less delicious. The problem must be in your pants. This messed up Sherlock's Holmes kind of statements and sheer lack of tact it was delivered with catches me completely off guard. I think I might have reeled back even physically as Ren's eyes widen in revelation and astonishment. So I was right, there is something wrong with your tackle, isn't there? Still partly in shock, but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out the first thing that I could think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem. Actually, you know, I should have fucking looked up what that word was, how to pronounce that word. Oh, of course. Now, when I look it up and I want someone to say it to me, I don't get it. I might have to use, like, Google Translate or something.
Arrhythmia.
Arrhythmia? Oh, I see now. Oh, bro, I fucking spelled that right, too. Oh, wait, no, I didn't. No, I didn't. Oh, wait, no, I did. Oh, fuck yeah. Wait, no, I didn't. Never mind, I'm stupid. I did spell it wrong. The fucking it auto-corrected for me. That's what's wrong. Anyways, I think we got it. I should have just done this, actually. I don't know why it's on German.
Arrhythmia.
Arrhythmia. Yeah, it's still the same. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem. Arrhythmia. I said it. More like blurted it out, but I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed. How boring. Trouble in the pants would have been much more scandalous. What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down. I forgive you. Just I collect people and a person with, that kind of problem would have been really great. Collect people? People with different problems. Huh, so you just, go around asking people what's wrong with them? Pretty much. I see. With a little left to say, Rin resumes her lunch, and the conversation dies away. But I keep thinking about what she said. It's the first time I told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already, or heard about it from someone else. Or didn't need to know about it, like every other student here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of my introduction? Is it expected of me? Hi, I'm Hisao. I have a very serious heart condition. Is that how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us. What a disgusting thought. Or maybe the Tuxi... God, I'm not even gonna try. As if this Rin girl just has an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk to the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, a chance opens to study Rin from the corner of my eye. Her hair is burnt auburn, almost orange. A burnt auburn and almost orange, and cropped shirt. Long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and the lack of arms makes her look very thin and scrawny. She is not particularly pretty except for her murky green eyes, which flicker restlessly from below her short bangs, even when she eats. Alright, well that's not true. Tomboys and, boyish-looking girls can be really cute. Tomboy supremacy. The distance and the shadows make it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb all of it within them deep walls. She moves her feet almost as daftly as a normal person would use their arms. However, I can see this sight could discomfort people, especially while eating. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, at least. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabins and shelves for Misha's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable, so I try to force some conversation out of the strange girl. So, do you always eat alone or in this late? Or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors? Maybe you're my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with certain people on the roof, if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh, and that's all I can think to say. Both of us fell silent as Rin forks the last bite of her meal into her mouth. I look down at my haul and double-check with Misha's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. I'm also going to assume that friend that does sports is going to be the girl with the two prosthetic legs. Because I'm noticing a theme. The girls like to hang out in groups of two. I mean, technically Shizune is one of the only girls where, the second girl isn't an option for dating. She's just there as, an interpreter, but she does still play, a big role in the game from what it seems. That would actually be kind of weird. You have, 5 disabled girls that you can basically romance. It would be kind of odd in a school meant for disabled kids if you went after the one girl who wasn't disabled. So I think I have all the things I need now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obligated to stay. I was about to take a nap anyways. You need to do whatever you're going to do with that stuff anyways, right? Or perhaps you would like to watch girls sleep. I'm not sure what to make of this, but Rin looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. I'll get you around. You can call me Rin. I feel that our relationship is at a point good enough to warrant this much. I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine, then I'm Hisao. Then you are. Rin looks at me hard in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple times, and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There is something like a tiny smile there in that face of hers. I quietly back out of the room. As I shut the door in front of my face, I whisper to myself, what an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that. What did she hear? I jump at a sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty halls. Somehow she had gotten to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about a global feminist conspiracy, but I push that thought aside. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof, as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. Wait. More importantly, who is in there? There's no such club meeting today. She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyways. What are you doing here? You took so long that I had to come check what's wrong. That's no good, Hichan. She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because of you, Tardy. Yo, you can't call me that. Yo, what the fuck? Oh, sorry, I got the things here. Was just going to bring them. I think you were up to some mischievous, Hichan. Who was in there with you? I wonder. Misha signs something quickly to Shizune, pointing at her own ear a couple of times. Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she's experiencing. With Shizune's diligent and attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Rin, frozen in place apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders. From suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, charting the sign furiously at Misha. Maybe she didn't blow up, but I can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me, too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on the table. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason for my tardiness. Hello. Rin's voice comes from across the side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at me using a half-interested and sleepy face. Hello. Miss Rin, what do you think you were doing? You've absolutely are not permitted to use school property for such disgraceful activities. It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune and Misha's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulders, points at Rin, and makes some quick signs. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how's your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looks at them, blinking, apparently at ease under the pressure Shizune's cold stare is putting on her. I kept wondering about that myself, too. And? We'll think about it harder. As Misha sighs her reply to Shizune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown. Miss Rin, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw up their lunch onto it. Rin nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't, not even after translation. She just shakes her head and takes the materials from me, and then takes off with Misha in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true though, I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. I'm about to ask the project she had and what these apocalyptic consequences are, but she walks away and back into the art room. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at a huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting at and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you want me to take it? Away. And with that, she takes off to the hallway. Me and the paint can following, since there's little choice for either of us. The hallway is quiet and empty now, with Shizune and Misha gone, so we too leave towards the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps, I have to change the can from one hand to another, because the thin handle lid cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Rin strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching, or maybe I am walking weird because of the extra weight. It seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out is which. 2 flights of stairs below, trouble appears in the form of the head nurse and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Naki, what a happy coincidence. Rin too, of course. He nods courteously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back, then turns to me because obviously it's me who he had some business with. There's something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impassively because I can't even begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of the handle delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. It's about your medications. Since you haven't been that long on your current medications, there might be some unexpected side effects, which might require adjusting dosages or even changing to another kind of medication. So, we will do a few tests regularly, but what we want is for you to keep an eye on everything in your condition that feels off, if you get what I mean. Nausea, headache, anything. And come see me if something happens. Alright. So how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can to the floor before answering. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often that I've done that lately. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here. My parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's natural for a hospital, not so much for a school. Except this school. This is a small school and both the students' base and the faculty seem very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. And this is not the kind of school that gets transferred students too often. The thought sends a shiver up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyways. That's great. Also, one other thing. My sources tell me that you've been at neither the school track or even the pool, so I'd like to know if you have taken up exercising as I asked. Of course I haven't, but his way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off to track since the very first day. You have people spying on me? Not as such, I just happen to know a few people, but that's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually going to do some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and lift the can up and down a few times, like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down my arms painfully. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then comes back like it was never gone. Rin, would you give us a second? The nurse grabs me by the shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't need to in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you are still on your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it'll be. It's the same with everything like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious about this from now on? Maybe. Maybe. No, I mean. He gives me a nasty sort of look when I say that, making me try to take back the words. I mean, I don't know. I'm still trying to get used to the school. I'll promise to try, though. You're not being very convincing here, Hisao. Tip number 1. Medical professionals are not amused if you take their advice lightly. What's up with him? As if a day or two would make that much of a difference. I didn't do anything at the hospital either. Yeah, okay, sorry. He studies me for a moment and then shrugs, smiling again. Alright, that's more like it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consolation to you if you want to get a jog in. Consolation? See you around. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting idly, leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixture in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off of them. Are you getting medication for your heart thingy? Were you listening? It comes out more accusatory than I intended, accidentally lashing out at her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her, and I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seems to be happily arrogant about confidentiality, too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? I look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin is just staring past my shoulders quizzically. Yeah, fuck it. Her head tilted like a bird's. Sigh. I don't know why this is so hard for me. It feels like there is some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're for my heart. Will they make you better? No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Rin keeps looking at me for a while longer, and she neither says anything further nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all this. At the hospital was easy, but I still haven't sorted my feelings about having to live with a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building, and Rin leads us onward towards the dorms. We stop at a small patch of greenery in front of the dorms. The dorm is built on a slightly elevated ground, with a wall and a few trees that everyone has circled around every time they come to go. It's probably the only inconvenient design of the school. The entire wall, made of the same kind of bricks as the buildings itself, has been covered with some kind of painting. Most of it is just mere sketches, quick line drawn with black and white, against the gray plastering that covers almost the entire length of the wall, but some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands. I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seems to be paint cans are arranged in piles on the ground besides the wall. See, the left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. Then, it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it, but the guys from the art class are helping with the negative spaces and base surfaces which is a problem. It's easier to paint big areas if there are lots of people with hands. The reach is better and it's faster too. She goes on a tangent, waving a little of her arm, or whatever is actually there, to demonstrate even though I got the point already. The white cotton of her sleeve flaps around, and it makes me think it could look sadder than it does. But it makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible reminder of the student bases. Special priorities has in the past few days. Or special properties. This girl doesn't notice my dreary face, of course, or the fact that she lost me a while ago, and just keeps blabbering. So that's why I'm trying to figure out if there is something I need to figure out, and then figure out before it's too late and all hope is lost. Why would the hope be lost? Because paint has to be painted, and then it has to dry, and then it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time. She suddenly stops, apparently thinking she made some kind of statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So, this is your project? You did this? Yes. All of it? Yes. Nice, but... I stumbled with my words, suddenly feeling like I walked straight into a minefield of political incorrectness. It's okay, you can say it. I probably won't get mad. I blushed really hard. I don't really know what would be the right thing to say, if anything. It feels that I'm way more sensitive than Rin is, though. This is really awkward. Don't you want to ask? How do you paint without hands? See, I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet. I almost guessed that already, but isn't it hard to do that? You're good at guessing. Anyway, I don't think it is. But maybe I'm used to it by now. I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist, but seeing how adept she is at using her feet to eat, I figure painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us have anything more to add to the subject. The afternoon light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that at all. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I just wanted to see what it looks like in dim light. Do you think it's flat? Well, painting tends to be flat. Not like that flat. You know, flat. Like some people are. No substance, no meat where there should be some. I know a few girls who... Okay, I get it. But I couldn't really tell. I'm just not that good with art. I can't name any artists or artistic terms. So I don't really have anything to say. Rin shrugs her shoulders at that, saying, "Suit yourself," without saying it, and looks up at the sky as if trying to look for something up there. I didn't think I'd get any actual work done, but if you give me a hand with the paints, I could do a little before it gets too dark. I wanted to get a halogen lamp, like the ones they have at the sports tracks, but there aren't any. Rin sure is quick to recruit my help. As was Shizune. It really makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every pair of hands is needed. Why not? I'm not really sure if I can be of any help, though. It's just mixing some paint. You can do that. Probably. Do you have any motor control problems? Like, you know, those people who have some? Cerebral palsy, maybe? Not that I know of. I get it. Heart thingy has nothing to do with that. She gives me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't. Let's do it then. So she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a wide brush between her toes. Between the toes of her bare feet. I open a few of the cans and pour some of the contents into a shallow bowl for mixing. The thick paints flow lazily from the can to the bowl like syrup. I mix them, creating funny, hypnotic-looking swirl patterns that quickly melt into each other to form a new monotone hue. Rin sets to work every now and then asking me for a hand with something or the other. Finding different brushes is easy enough, but mixing the paints to be the exact tone this girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal. She wants precision down to the last millimeter before she is satisfied, but her instructions are obscure at best. Add half a splash of green. Crouch down to pick up that can of bright green. The other green. This green. I carefully pour some of the other green paint into the mixing bowl. No, that's almost a whole splash. More white. Is green a good color to add? No idea, you're the artist here. A hint of a smile appears in the corner of her mouth. Do you lack an opinion? No, it's just that I have no idea. It's okay, because I just got an idea. Add more white. With this exclamation, I pour a minuscule amount of white into the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly lighter. That's not enough. That's not good. It has to be like the color when you wake up and you know that you saw the meeting of your life in your dream, but you can't remember it. Maybe it's yellow. Despite the impossibility of mixing a color like the change of seasons or any other nonsense that's being imposed on me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. Seeing a painting being born on the plastered wall feels like magic. I spend the moments I have between mixing paints and crouching down on the paving and just look at her work. It feels slightly intrusive at first, like breaking some imaginary intimacy, but Rin doesn't seem to mind the least bit. Maybe it's just in my head. Her entire presence emits a completely different air as she patiently works the details, adding layer of paint on top of the other layers of paint, steadily moving her foot across the wall to add new shapes. When I manage to produce a passable mixture of paint, the rare smile on her face is oddly rewarding. Apart from a few words when discussing paint mixes, neither of us says the word for the longest time. And even those short discussions soon evolve into shorthand, both of us developing and using weird impromptu code words for various paints and hues. As if there was some need to converse words and breathe and sound. We stay there late into the evening until it becomes too dark to paint properly. I'm assuming every time the heart happens, that's just signifying, like, the next day. Yeah, very much so. Um... Oh, good. This game does have a save. I was actually... I was actually so nervous on how you save this game. Also, I just noticed the save was the armless girl. Oh, actually, I just noticed that a couple of different girls appear. How far back does the text history go? Oh, it actually goes back quite a bit. Current scene, the running girl. Oh, I like that. There's a current scene, and then there's the sound effects. Okay, so I'm assuming auto mode just like... Yeah, everything moves automatically. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. But you know, I'm actually really liking this game so far. It's kind of cute. Um, I definitely can't. I definitely can't keep going. My chest and my throat are starting to hurt from talking too much. So that's most likely going to be the end of stream for now. Like I was saying though, this is probably the second game that I'm gonna introduce to the channel. Just because, like I said before, I want to have two different series going on the channel. The schedule that I have currently is I have two main games on the channel. Monday is main game 1, Tuesday is main game 2, Wednesday I don't stream, Thursday is main game 1, Friday is a free day so I can play whatever I choose, and Saturday is main game 2. And so that's the schedule so far. I'm probably going to make like an actual picture or something to put onto the Twitch channel just to have it there, just so people know like exactly what is going on like specific days. Again, I'm not very good at following schedules. Schedules has never been my strong suit. Despite being autistic, I've never been a very punctual or a creature of habit. So, the schedule is still subject to change, but I do actually want to like start taking this very seriously. I know I mentioned it a while ago, jokingly in the stream yesterday, but I am seriously thinking about doing content for only like 3 more years. As much as I love doing Twitch, and as much as I love making content, I don't think I can realistically see myself making content forever. I'm almost in my 30s. In 3 more years, I'll be 30 years old. I'm turning 27 this year. I would have been doing Twitch and YouTube for around 15 or 16 years by that point, with varying degrees of success. And I know that there's been like... I know for a large portion of that, I say that I've been making content for that many years, but there was also a really large gap in time where I wasn't able to actually make content for about 4 years or so, just because I lived in like a bad situation. Like, Twitch and making content is something that I'm very passionate about. It's something that I've always loved doing. But eventually, like, you know, sometimes you do eventually just have to, like, throw in the towel. Like, you have to come to the realization that some things just aren't meant to work out. I love doing Twitch, and I would love the possibility of one day maybe doing it as, like, a career. But, you know, I've always done content creation as a hobby. It's never been about the money or anything like that. And I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, over the years, I've kind of grown a bit. I don't know if Twitch and doing content creation is something that I want to actively pursue anymore. It is fun. I do enjoy doing it. And it does, like, help me relieve a lot of stress, get my opinions out there, and just it allows me to be myself, which is why I kind of switched over to the VTuber model as well. Is I wanted to start being myself more, and I didn't really feel too comfortable doing that anymore with the camera and everything on, with my face being on constantly. I'm a very nervous person, and I've always been very self-conscious about my interest in myself. I've just all around I have very low self-esteem. And that could potentially be like why I'm having so much trouble with Twitch and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't really know what I'm trying to say here. I guess I would love Twitch for like to become a reality, to be my dream job and like something that I can do. But I've always been a very realistic person. And I understand that some dreams aren't meant to come true. As sad as it is, like, not everyone gets their happy ending. Otherwise, I wouldn't be single and be raising a child as a single father if things actually worked out the way that I wanted them to work out. That's how it is sometimes, and that's kind of how I feel with Twitch. I love doing it, but I just realistically can't see myself doing it forever. Obviously, that might change in the future, but as of right now, I think I might only do Twitch for maybe like another 3 years. I really don't know how much longer I will do Twitch. But, you know, I guess that's for another time. I don't know if I'm going to leave this in for the actual YouTube video or not. I'll probably cut this part out because it's kind of embarrassing. But, yeah, I don't really know. I'm just at a very complicated point in my life because I feel like I should be doing more with it. And I feel like the channel and like everything should be in a better position than what it has been in the past couple of years. There comes a point when you try a lot of different things and nothing seems to be working. That's kind of like the mentality that I built up. I've tried my hardest. I've done a lot of things. And some things work, some things don't. I don't know. Yeah, that's the end. I'm definitely gonna cut this part out. But I appreciate everyone who does come into like the chats and stuff, though. It definitely helps a lot. And I appreciate being able to just openly be myself on a platform without anyone really judging me all too good, or all too much. Sorry to get really emotional there towards the end, but you know, there's just a lot of things that have been going on in my life recently. A lot of things that I've been contemplating, and yeah, I don't know. I want to be better. I want to do better on Twitch and stuff like that. I would love for that to happen. But I need to think realistically, and I need to do better for my family. Because my family comes first before my dream. My relationship came first before my dream. And it's just kind of, it's always been like that. It's hard to break a habit. It's hard putting yourself first for once and do things that you want to do. Because, I mean, if it was up to me, I wouldn't even have a job. I would just be doing Twitch forever and just being a fucking vegetable. But I can't do that. I can't realistically do that. You can't get paid for being unemployed. Alright, but I'm gonna go, though, because now I'm making myself just overly sad. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Love all of you.